welcome to episode 193 of Zapped to the Past. I am Adrian Mills. I'm joined as always by Mr. Graham Raddings. If you haven't listened before, this is a podcast where we discuss games that were released for the Commodore 64. 2 weeks ago, we looked at our first batch of games from issue 78 of Zap 64, which we are in no way affiliated with, and we're very much impressed with Volfied, disappointed with Darkman, and endured the tedium that was T2 Judgment Day. This week we conclude our look at the games in October 1991, along with what was lighting up our TV and cinema screens that month. Graham, what can we expect to entertain ourselves with in this week's episode?
Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Yes, it's time for the big giveaway, as we are now, of course, at the spookier end of October 1991. So grab your masks and either watch The Magic Pumpkin or listen to Zapped to the Past, because at least one of those won't turn your head into a bunch of bugs and snakes in some kind of weird, ancient Irish prank. So in a month which also saw the Blue Man Group's first performance in New York City, we grab our shoulder and knee pads, fastest balls and padded helmets, and then head into the battle arena for a massive kickoff and dust-up in the crunchy C64 conversion of the Amiga smash hit Speedball 2 Brutal Deluxe, and then detach our bodies and go for a jolly old jump around the mazes and tiled platforms while collecting lips in the somewhat fun chase 'em up, bouncing heads. I always make a point of watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch in October. Why, you may ask? Well, if you can find a better film featuring Tom Atkins, gravy-powered android henchmen, the unexplained theft of a triptych from Stonehenge, and a genocidal Irish deadly mask maker, then I'm all ears. So while you hurriedly look for any streaming service that might be showing that utter masterpiece, we head off on a daring mission to rescue the copyrighted princess from the evil clutches of the IP-infringing demons in the nearly brand Ghosts and Goblins-inspired Dragon's Kingdom, before finally taking everything down several intensity levels and relaxing into the almost challengeless grid spaces of brightly coloured shaped tiles in the oh-so-nice Swap. I do love a great Amiga to C64 conversion, and this episode features one of the best ever. It's no joke on the children either. Even Conal Cochran would take a break from his evil Silver Shamrock plans and give it a blast. I am not so sure the same would be said for poor old Buddy Kupfer, and you are going to have to watch Halloween 3 Season of the Witch to find out what happens to him. Bag of delights, that, isn't it?
It is. It's not a bad week. I don't know if it's a bad week. I don't know. I think
there's things to say, there's things to like, there's things to discuss, isn't there? There's things. I like that. You know, that's good. It's good.
There's a whole host of things. There is a crap vert as well. We've got a crap vert of the chart.
There is. Yeah,
what's coming up what's coming up for the next episodes? All kinds of stuff, and four games to look at. Four games. Four whole games, and this is it. When's the last issue is November 1992. So we're nearly just a year away.
We're about coming up to the year away, and also rapidly approaching episode 200, which will be quite a big celebratory marker for us. I know it's official episode 200 as well, because obviously there's times when we've
done
time and
about
space,
220 odd or something.
Yeah, but on the official numeric designation of the podcast, it will be the official episode 200, and that's a big marker. So just expect some requests for stuff and bits and bobs, certainly to our patrons and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you've got anything any ideas or anything like that, just reach out to us on all the usual channels and just let us know, because we do want it to be quite the celebration, and expect some shout outs from some of our amazing podcast friends and supports and people that have bigged us up over the past 200 episodes, because it's a big deal. 200, it was a big deal when we did 100, and that doesn't seem like a lot long ago. Now it's 200.
So now it needs to be a doubly big deal to do 200.
It does. Expect an epic intro, maybe even an epic outro. Hey.
Sir.
Bit of the old in and out, love.
Oh, I do like an epic outro. And as you mentioned, the Patreon, if you want to get in on that, definitely get in on it. And you should join up. You should sign up. Patreon.com/Zap to the Past. It's well less than the price of a pint of beer these days.
Absolutely is.
It really is. And you get access to the Discord, ad-free episodes, all that sort of thing. And you get to join in on the stuff we do. So, and come chat with us and all that kind of stuff. So it is well worth it. And you get discounts in the shop. They get discounts in the shop, I think they do, don't they? They do.
They do. Patrons do get discounts in the shop. They get deserved discounts, but they need to be a patron and ask us about that, and we can unveil the truth to them. And there's an amazing new T-shirt on there, of course.
You can unveil the truth. I'm just going to stand back and let you do that.
Absolutely, I can do that. There's a new T-shirt as well, which is our famous Lave to the Dizzo T-shirt. Dizzo to Lave, of course. Yeah. I know our patrons are very adamant that we deserve to. They think we should be giving Elite and Mercenary some kind of extra attention. Like we've not told them we hate it enough, but okay, if you really want us to go down that road
really
again,
want us to
right,
do
fine.
another hour on why we don't like those two games, we will. But
we can oblige you with that. Well, I did a poll in that, a patron poll, a patron poll, not a patron poll, a patron poll. And then the verdict was unanimous. We should do both. I did say, by the way, after doing some research, not because I've ever played it this far, but in order for that to happen, we needed to go and find a particular bit of the recording equipment from a certain place in the game Elite. I made sure, by the way, that the name of that place was the furthest, most difficult place to reach in Elite that you could possibly get. So it might take a while, that's all I'm saying. Might take a while.
It might do. And and we might need some cheese out of Mercenary, which is also quite hard to get.
Oh, yeah, it's the craft, isn't that? Was the joke, wasn't it? It's a fast craft or something. Like this
craft cheese.
Yeah, it's like that joke is beyond niche, even for a Vector game.
Vector cheese. I'm going to chop that up. Just chop it up.
Vector
How would you
cheese.
Imagine a slice of Vector cheese. You wouldn't see it.
I don't have to imagine it. As the mayor of Targ, it's something we've had to deal with for. And of course, basically, it's just like you remember they used to get the what's that super flat cheese craft cheese singles. You remember them?
Yeah.
Which turned out weren't made of cheese at all. Well, that's exactly what they're made of on Targ. There's no difference.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no cheese on these crackers. There is. It's sliced very thinly.
It's sliced very thin indeed. So thin, in fact, that you can only see it from the side.
It's only got 1D.
It's just a line of cheese, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. So, I don't know if we're going to do that. We might do at the very end, but don't hold us to that. Who knows? I know our patrons are now going to go, you are doing it. Like, oh.
Yeah, they want us to do it. Well, like I said, if you want another couple of hours of me explaining to you why I think it's the most boring game ever made, I'll happily do that if that's what you want. It ain't going to change my mind. I don't like Vector games. No. Fundamentally, it is one.
Especially Vector games on the C64.
No, exactly. And I know someone cleverly recoded it to speed it up. It ain't going to help it. So
no, ain't going to help it the original.
Exactly. We have to play the original. The original reviewed one.
Yeah. Remember, the point of the podcast was to do away with the rose-tinted glasses and see if these games are still any good.
Exactly. And we did. And it wasn't.
Yeah. We proved it. Listen to episode 1.
Yeah, do. Actually, don't go about that far. You don't need to. But you know what? When we get towards the end and we've got episodes and things to spare and time maybe on our hands, maybe there's an opportunity to go and find Grace Jones, get her in on it as well, and we'll all go full on Lave to the Dizzo and see how we go.
No, she's wearing that outfit and that GIF you keep playing.
That was a very apt
looking
GIF.
like that. It was a very look at my ass. Whatever she says. Anyway, and so on the note of Grace Jones' ass, should we get into some games?
It's time.
Let's get to our very first game of this week. And this is a sequel. It's a big sequel. It is Speedball 2 Brutal Deluxe.
Ooh.
£10.99. It got 90%. It was a sizzler. And as I called it back then, here we are with Fast Spherical Objects 2 Brutal Deluxe. That's what I called it, the original one. The sequel to 1989's Fast Spherical Objects, which we thoroughly enjoyed. They said it was an excellent deport of the 16-bit version. Obviously, it's Speedball, as it should be called. And indeed, you could probably I did actually listen to what we said about it. You could probably just go and listen to that. And whenever Speedball is mentioned, just replace it with Speedball 2. I reckon our comments are going to be pretty similar here. I don't think it's going to be much different, but there is some different things to talk about. Originally, this was obviously released on the Amiga, 1990, by Imageworks, but was, of course, designed and developed by the Bitmap brothers.
It was.
You spoke about them a lot more on the original Speedball one, so I'm not going to go over that again, but you noted back in the original review then, there was something like akin to Rockstar developers of the time, and I think that's
totally cool.
So, it's those guys and they're making these games. Speedball 2, it's a very big deal on the Amiga when it was released.
Yeah.
Looking at the wiki today, in 1994, PC Gamer US named Speedball 2 the 24th best computer game ever.
Wow, okay.
At the time. Okay. Pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's pretty impressive, that.
Yeah, I'll go on. The editors wrote, you just can't beat this game for pure action. Same year, PC Gamer UK named it the 30th best computer game of all time, calling it totally convincing, very stylish. In 1998, PC Gamer declared it the 40th best computer game ever released. Now, if you think 1998, the PlayStation's around, the N64 is about. PC Gamer has come on. We've had Quake and things. It's still the 40th best game ever
still
released.
Resonating. Yep, still resonating.
The editors called it still one of the funnest sports games out there. And Speedball, by that point, Speedball 2, or by now, sold over 2 million copies.
Wow, that's a lot.
Pretty good. That is pretty good. That's a spicy meatball. And as like most of these games, it's come out on loads of machines and loads of systems and stuff since then. It had versions on the Acorn 32-bit, CD32, Amstream, SDST. BlackBerry got another port of this. What was BlackBerry doing with games?
BlackBerry?
BlackBerry. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Genesis, J2ME, Jaguar, Sega Master System, Windows Mobile got a version, and the Xbox 360. There's also sequels, I think, on the PlayStation as well, I seem to remember.
There was a version on the iPad as well.
It's not listed, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, definitely version came out, because I remember it came out under a slightly different name. It was the Bitmaps, but it came out under Tower Developments or something like that.
Right. But missing out from all them is the C64 version. So let's get to that, because that's what we're here to look at. Obviously published by ImageWorks again. This was coded by Carl Muller. We've seen Carl Muller before. He did the god-awful Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles game. We saw us descending into the sewers for those terrible platform sections.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I know. He also did some cover game for CMVG in 1985 called Zyrax.
Sounds painful, or like a spot cream.
Yeah, but that's it. A strange choice then for porting one of the biggest games around at the time. Like
it is,
you know, so what? You look at his CV and go, he's the man. He's going to take us to the top of the world. He's the one.
Let him do it.
The graphics were by Alan Tompkins. Again, this is his only game listed on Lemon. I don't know whether he worked on other stuff. I didn't look on Moby, but he's on that. And the music is by Martin Walker. And the iconic box art of the man reaching for the ball is by Glenn Fabry.
Excellent.
I just mentioned the music or lack of. I think it's a loading screen piece. I think
it is. It's on the intro. The intro was a separate load.
Right, because the two versions I tried, disc and cartridge, they had no music. And although the music is on Lemon, you can hear it and you can hear it on YouTube. It does not appear in the game itself, so it's obviously
it's intro sequence. It loads it in. Yeah, it loads the intro sequence in. It's the basic same intro sequence as the Amiga. Same graphics and everything else, and it has that music on it.
Oh, I never noticed. All right, maybe I didn't have that version, and I couldn't find any video of it on YouTube either for the C64 version.
Yeah, it's on the version we had. You just got to put it in as attach it as to the device, and then you can see two loads on the device.
Right, okay, that's down to me then. Anyway, okay. So the C64 version came with a large extra booklet as well. I don't know if that came with the Amiga version, called a souvenir program. Loads of extra detail and stories about the information of the league and so on. 14 pages long. I'm not going through it here. Go have a read of it. It's all just backstory about the the Speedball League and how it disappeared and went underground and came back and stuff. It's online. Go read it if you want to. We'll post a link to it in the show notes if you wish to have a read of it. But however, just to précis what the game is about, this is from the back of the box. It's 2 years since the last ball was thrown on a Speedball pitch. There are new teams, new stadia, and new rules. The arena is bigger, the players are tougher, and the action is faster than ever before. The challenge is this: take control of Brutal Deluxe, the worst team in Speedball history, and turn them into champions. Okay.
That's the plan.
So obviously that front end is the same, separate load, but it wasn't on the version I was playing, so I'll just take your word for it, so you can talk about that. But it is, the rest of the game, though, is a single load.
It is.
Okay, which is very impressive. So this is another, like the first game, an entirely single goal, an entirely single load. So they've crammed this all into 64K. That's quite the thing.
Impressive, isn't it?
So we get a simple title screen when it does boot up, offers us the choice to load a save game or not. Obviously I didn't have one, so we just move on to the title screen, and we can play from here. We can have a 1 or 2 player game or watch a demo. It's kind of reminiscent of the Amiga version, similar kind of font and text, but just a bit background as detail. It's all right. It's fine. It's nice and simple. There's no real, I think there's some sound effects you pick them, but there's no music or anything I said. You can, so 1, 2 player or watch a demo. If you actually leave the title screen for a minute or so, it automatically goes to a demo match for you to watch. You can press run stop to come out of that, or escape on your keyboard. There's plenty of modes here. 2-player mode allows you to play the best of 1, 3, or 5 games against a fellow friend, and allows you to customize your team in the gym section before the game. I'll come to all that gym stuff in a bit when we're actually talking about the single-player game. But yeah, so you just play 1, 3, or 5. You get one best of 1, 3, or 5 against a friend. That's the 2-player mode. You can't play multiplayer across the cup, knockout, or the league modes. Just that version. The single-player game offers various modes, as I said, from knockout. This sees you play a series of ever increasingly difficult opponents until you lose. These, I think, are these very similar to the single-player modes that you could pick in Micropro Soccer? They seem very similar.
Yeah, just seem similar kind of idea, aren't they?
Yeah, because I had the sort of one where you played a series of ever increasingly tougher teams, and the cup and a league. So I think they've sort of taken the nod from there. I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well take from the best.
It wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah. There's a league, which is the main mode of the game, offering 2 options. The latter option allows you to just manage a team, and the games play out in real time once you've done synchrony as the manager. So you don't play them, you're just a manager. So, you're buying and wheeling and dealing stuff behind the scenes. You could do that if you want. The other mode obviously has you both manage and play the game. It's probably where you're going to spend most of your time with this game, I'd have thought. There's also a cup mode, which is played over 4 rounds, with each round being over 2 legs. The winner of the combined games going through to the next round until one team is crowned the winner of the cup, I guess. And there's also a practice mode. This allows you to get used to the controls on a pitch without an opponent. You can just run around and get used to everything and how the scoring works and everything. We'll come to all that a bit later. So let's get to the league mode. So the league mode, when you select it, you'll see your first opponent. So it'll come up and this is who you're playing next. So you'll be Brutal Deluxe on the left and then whoever it is you're playing on the right-hand side. It'll have their stats and everything. For their, subs, defense, midfield, and attack. And there's nothing, you can have a look at them quickly, and then you press fire, and it goes on to the management screen. So there's two levels to this. So the first screen you're going to get to is the management screen. It's got several options in the bottom left. It's got your roster of 9 players on the right, 3 defense, including the goalkeeper, 3 midfield, and 3 attackers. All this is pretty much exactly the same as the Amiga version. The way it's laid out and everything, it's all taken from that. So they've done a very, very good job in transposing that Amiga version over to the C64. And in the top left, it's got the details of each player. So it's got all their stats. Every player starts off with 100 in each stat. I'll come to the stats in a bit. The cursor flicks from option to option here, so control is nice and quick, and you can move from the list of players on the right to the options in the bottom left seamlessly, just moving around. Cursor just flicking from it's really good. It's really nice. It works really well. The options in the bottom left, they're all sort of denoted by 3-letter words. So the first one we've got is TRA. This allows you to look at the transfer market once players become available to buy. You can't get into it for the first game. There's no one to buy. There's another one called Tab. This lets you look at the present tables for League 1 and 2. In the league mode, you start at the bottom of League 2. There's STA. These sound like opcodes. It lets you look at match stats once you have played a game. ESC quits out and starts the next game, so press escape to actually start the game. There's Fix. This lets you look at the team stats for both teams in the upcoming match if you didn't take them in when it was first starting. SAV allows you to save the game. There's a couple of up and down arrows. These allow you to cycle through players if you want to substitute them out. And Sub button allows you to swap players out and subs in. So you've got 3 substitutes that you might want to put in. This is useful if your players get injured in the main game and you have to put a substitute in, or someone's knackered or dead because their stats go up and down in between games. Then there is the most important button, that's the gym button. And this takes you to a whole new set of options. So you start the game with 2,000 credits in the bank. And you can use these to improve the stats of your players. Again, in the bottom left, there's a series of icons, a series of options for you to choose from. There's one that's labeled with an I, one with a G, and one with a T. These lets you improve the stats of individuals. That's I. G is a section of the team, so you can improve all the stats for defense, midfield, attack, and subs in one go. Or you can do the whole team itself with the T. That'll just improve everything for everyone. Again, you can see the upcoming fixture to try and tailor your improvements to offset the opponent. So if they've got a strong or a weak defense, you might want a strong attack. If they've got a really strong attack, you might want to boost your defenders up. If they've got a big strong, you know what I mean. Again, you can see the screen is split, with the options again in the bottom left, as I said. Who or which part of the team any improvements will be applied to in the top left. So it'll say sub, it'll have a picture of the individual, or it'll say sub, midfielder, or it'll say team. And there's a list in the middle of the 8 attributes that you can improve. And there's a picture of the player on the right with parts being highlighted. As you select them, again, this is pretty much identical to the Amiga version that I could see. With all, C64 graphics, obviously, but the layout and everything has been lifted wholesale, taken straight, and been made to work exactly like the Amiga version does. So you've got 8 stats that you can improve. These are aggression, which means how hard your other players will go in on tackles and stuff. There's attack, which is how good they are at attack. The defense, there's how fast they are. That's speed, how far they can throw with throwing, or how fast they can throw. There's power, which is the strength, I think, and how hard they go in on people. Stamina, which is how long they can last in a game, and finally intelligence. So the more intelligent they are, the better they'll be in sort of pitch positioning and things like that, and they'll do the right things and the right moves and stuff like that. And you can improve any of these, and like I said, you can do this on a team, on a section, so midfield, goal, so midfield, defense, attack, sort of thing, or individual level. So you can go really granular, or you can just do it at top level. Up to you. You can also press. There's an all button as well in the bottom left. This will increase all stats for whatever you have selected. Be careful on that, because if you've got teams selected, you press all, you watch your money disappear. You're like, damn it.
Why did I do that?
Yeah, because you can't come back from it. There's no undo. So if you do just want to improve a specific stat, you move to that stat in the middle column where they are, and you select it, and you just press fire again, and that improves it. So if you're just wanting to, if you're doing this individual on a single person, it will just improve that stat for them. If you're doing it for the midfield, it will improve it for everyone. And if you go from one person, improve theirs, then go to the midfield and improve it, it kind of takes their bit into consideration as giving you the overall stat as well. It's quite clever in the way it does it. It kind of works out the average. It's nice that it does that. All stats, as I said, start at 100. Each level of increase of 10 costs credits. They're different amounts as well, between 5, 10, and 15. Depending on which stat you're improving. So you've got to select your improvements wisely. Okay. So once you've done all this, since you're satisfied with your players and you've spent all your cash, which is probably best to do, get them up as best as you can, as fast as you can. Go and play a game. So you press escape in the gym, and then you press escape at ESC again in the management menu. And this pretty much takes you immediately to the game. Because it's all in one load, there's no waiting for loading or anything. It's just boom, you're in, straight into the game, which is great. And the first thing you'll probably notice, 9 players on each team, which is impressive. With no glitching, no raster flickering, no sprite multiplexer flickering that I saw. Just solid 9 players, 18 sprites on screen. And the pitch is bigger as well. So the pitch is now, whether the original one was just on one screen and scrolled up and down, this is now 2 screens wide by about 6 screens high,
right.
So it's a lot bigger. It takes up most of the screen, and it scrolls very smoothly. The UI is at the bottom. UI is nice and simple. It tells you what you need to know. So your score at the bottom left, your posing score at the bottom right, the time remaining of the 90, you get 90 seconds per half, and that's in the middle, counting down. The health of your presently controlled player, in between, your score in the middle, and the health of the CPU player on the opposite side of it. So that's it. And that's all you need. Everything's very readable. Everything's very easy to look at. Controls are similar to the first game. Movement in 8 directions. Pressing fire throws the ball in the direction you're going. A tap does a low pass. A longer hold does a high throw. If you move the joystick to the left or right, just after you let the ball go, you can put some aftertouch on it to put a bit of spin or take it off in a bit of a direction, which is quite nice. If you do not have the ball, then pressing fire does a sliding tackle into an opponent. Or if the ball is flying through the air, you press the fire, it makes the player jump up to catch it if it's in the air. And that's quite useful at the beginning, because there's you and the opponent go running for the ball and it's fired up into the air and you want to jump to catch it. So if you want to grab it first of all and then try and hit them with it. But yeah, so the pitch is not only bigger now, but also has all the elements of the Amiga version down the sides as well. It's missing the crowd, so it doesn't have the crowd. So we just remove the crowd. The edge of the screen is the edge of the pitch. Okay, so the crowd and all those kind of crowd noises and stuff are gone. There has to be a give and take here somewhere. We don't have space for ice cream and all that kind of stuff. It's just
you get the kind of whistles and the kind of
you get the whistles
sound,
and stuff, but you don't get those big old, those famous samples, shall we say?
No.
For a start, on either side of the halfway point, so if you're going up, then on the top left of the pitch, just beyond the halfway point, there are these kind of score multipliers. So sorry, no, I've got this a bit wrong. Sorry, halfway point, there are score multipliers. These are kind of curved tubes. So if you throw the ball into them, they light up one of the 2 lights next to it with your team's colour. If you get one light lit, then any points you make are increased by a factor of 1.5. So a goal is 10. You score at one of these lit, you get 15. Get both lights lit, and they go up by a factor of 2, so you get 20. And there's more ways to score points. Of course, this works for the opposition as well. So if you get a couple of balls in there, expect them to go off to, if they get the ball, and try and get it back in there to knock your multiplier down. It's quite, it's quite a good tactic. So there are star points as well. So there's other ways to sort of score in this game rather than just the goals. So there are star points as well. So if you're going up just beyond the multiplier on the left-hand side, there's a load of sort of stars on the wall. If you throw the ball against these, you get 2 points. There are 5 of them to light up. They light up. If you get 5 of them against them, they light up. You get all 5 lit up. You get the 10 points from 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You also get a bonus 10 points as well. If you've got the multipliers, then that's 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and 20. So that's a good way of getting a load of points for free. You don't have to worry about goalkeeper stuff. Just try and light level them up. There are teleports as well. I think they were in the original game, but the teleports are back at the top and at the bottom. These teleport the ball to the other side of the pitch. There are also electro bouncers. So if you throw the ball into these electrified, it bounces off, the ball bounces off, and it becomes electrified. And this knocks out the next opposing player that the ball hits. So if you lob it in, your players will be fine. You can grab it, lob it into the goalkeeper, it'll knock them out and score a goal, obviously. That's the plan. But yeah, so like I said, the stars on the side, that's a way of getting some points as well. There's also the bounce drones. They sit sort of in either half of the pitch, about midway in the middle. If you throw the ball at them, you get 2 points. But again, multipliers work on that. So 3 and 4 if you've got the multipliers up and running. And so it's not just a case now of getting the ball in the goal, although that does give you the most points. You can win games and not even score a goal. Or get the ball in the net. You can, by playing strategically and going for the other things and getting multipliers up, it's quite easy, or it's quite possible to get more points that way. And that lends this game a much more strategic element than the first one does. It's one of the better elements of this. The action, though, is as fast and frantic as the first game. 9 players, like I said, for each side on the pitch. It gets pretty frenetic at times. 90 seconds per half. It's gone in no time because this is so fast and in your face. It's just a half is over before you kind of realize it. After that, you switch sides, play the next half. One with the most score at the end of the game wins. It's Speedball in a sense, just upped in every way possible. All the ante has been taken upwards. Everything that you could have wanted added has kind of been added. Bigger pitch, more players, more ways to score, multipliers, electro balls. It's like, yeah, okay, everything that we thought we could put in this, they're put in. Once you played your first game, then you go back to the menu and the little transfer button will flash, actually. That tells you that the transfer market is opened up and you can buy new players for your team. That's very simple to do. You just select who you want to replace, and once you've got the person you want to transfer in, there's a buy button. You press the buy and it just transfers your player out and then that new player in. Dead simple. Really easy, very easy to use menus in this, and that's a really good way to get a boost for your team for the next game, because the 2 that popped up for me were amazing. I was like, try and buy them. And that's it, right? That's it. You play leagues, you play cups. It's Speedball 2. From a technical point of view, this is excellent, right? Really, really excellent. It's a solid, incredibly solid port. The screen scrolls around at a smooth rate. I can see no glitching. The game is fast and responsive. There's no real slowdown that I saw. It's a fast, tense, and thrilling version of the Amiga original. All the elements of that game that matter here. Yes, some of the interstitial screens are not as good. What do you expect? Who cares when the meat of the game is so accurate and arguably a bit better than the original in certain ways. Pitch is bigger than the Amiga version, leaving some more chances to put plays together and a bit more space to run around in. Sprites are a little bit smaller, and it plays a little bit faster as well. I was watching it on YouTube today, and it was a little bit slow. It's slower than I remember, and the Amiga 64 version felt faster. That's quite something. The visuals are as you would expect from a C64 version. They're not as detailed, the players, but they're fine. The colours for each team I found were easy to read. They're usually green and red, I found, or sometimes blue. It's clear who is who. I never really had an issue with this, working out who I was controlling. It's just Speedball and a really well-done version of Speedball 2, sorry. The navigation through the menus is clear and easy, and again, takes all aspects of the Amiga version, makes it work exactly the same for the C64. And to get it all in one load is quite something. I was really impressed. The packaging that came with this is also great, and this is a highly impressive port of the original. It shouldn't be as good as this with all the new additions, all those new things in it. You could see, maybe we can't fit that, and maybe we can't, but they've got it all in. And, I don't know what he did between that Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles games and this, but in the right hands, it shows the C64 still a very capable machine. I had a great time playing this today. Had some really good fun games. I got totally into them, like winning by a couple of points or losing by a few points, coming back at the end, getting some weird scores, getting some multiplier up. I had some great times in this because it's Speedball 2. It's stripped down a bit. We've said this before. We said it about Swiv. It's a C64 version of it, but it captures the essence of that original, I thought. And I actually thought this, I'd need to go back to the Amiga version. I probably would, but I just thought this was, because it's in the here and now, I really, really enjoyed this. Highly rate this. Perhaps the best deport we've yet seen on the machine, I think. I'm trying to think of one that's better. Maybe Swiv, maybe.
Defender of the Crown.
Maybe Defender of the Crown, yeah, probably. Yeah, okay, I'll give you Defender of the Crown. But yeah, a stellar conversion. It's up there with it. This is a really, really strong port of a great game, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. What about you?
I always liked Speedball 2 on the Amiga. It was one of my sort of go-to Bitmap Brothers games. And there's the holy trinity of their games I really liked. I really liked Chaos Engine, I really liked this, and I really liked Gods as well. Not so much Magic Pockets, but you can't have everything. So it's genuinely a great game for the Amiga. And so you've got a great basis for making a good conversion of this. And all you have to do is just convert what you can. The Amiga's obviously going to have far more capable audio and visuals and quality of graphics. And you know that because it's a 16-bit machine with a lot more grunt behind it. And so you're not going to be able to compete with those things. Fine. But it doesn't. I think it's an exceptionally competent and very well put together conversion. There's an argument as well for the larger viewing area being advantageous in some ways. Although I personally prefer the more claustrophobic nature of the Amiga game because that ties into the brutal deluxe part for me, which is the kind of it's a rollerball game, but with a kind of a slamming everything together. The tight quarters I think are important, but it doesn't detract from the game itself. It just makes this one feel a little bit more spaced out, a little bit more simpler, and actually probably a little bit easier. The Amiga one is brutal. Especially when you get into the later leagues and when you're starting to play and you're going against some of the really challenging teams, there's nothing more frustrating than them scoring and you're trying to get the multiplayers and them taking them away. And it's a great game for that. But this captures all that. Not to take anything away from this conversion, it captures all of those things just fine. I'm a huge advocate of the Bitmap Brothers game on the Amiga. And so this really does at least, string everything according to that together. And you can get some decent plays in this. There's no doubt about that. And I don't know that it's faster than the Amiga. I mean, the Amiga was famous that it used to get moments of slowdown, believe it or not, because it's pushing some heavy-duty graphics around. And it's one of those games that, it's famous for that. You're not going to get that on this version, so maybe that is an advantage to some degree, but you're also not pushing around 512 different colour schemes and all the rest of it. And there's a lot of the Amiga bits that are in it that you probably have forgotten about, and you'd need to play the Amiga one to be reminded of them. Like when you score a goal, you get the little graphic and the animations, and you get all that. And those are bits that are what make Speedball. But C64 isn't going to be able to do all of that in 64K. So what they pull into this, I think it's quite revolutionary, really, because you can have a really good 1 or 2 player game of Speedball 2. And it's got the advances that it needed from Speedball as well. And so that's an important thing. And in one load, that's impressive, isn't it? There's a lot to like. All the league stuff there. You got all the stats. You got the controls for the game are very springy. It's neat. That's all cool. I like the intro sequence at the beginning. The Martin Walker version of Richard Joseph's music off the Amiga is very, very good indeed. Very competent version. It sounds exactly like it, minus the sort of some of the samples, of course. But you've got that really nice. I mean, Richard Joseph music has a special place in my heart for the Amiga and for the C64. So Martin Walker did it really good justice. And the intro sequence is essentially the Amiga one, albeit that it looked to me like they'd just scanned or taken scans or versions of the Amiga graphics and then kind of C64'd them, which is, I think, a bit of a shame. They didn't need to do that. I think if they were going to do it really justice, they could have redrawn them because the C64 could have done a good version of those. I don't doubt that, but it is what it is. But and you get the intro to the whole idea of what the game's about via a scrolling message and some imagery. It's pretty good for what it is. And it is a separate load and then the game loads in. So what there is here, very fun, very playable, very Speedball 2, isn't it? I don't think there's anything missing from this version. And if anything, you may have a little bit more screen real estate to play around in, maybe. And you might have a little bit more, player affordance, dare I say. But a great game's a great game. And this proves that, we've said it many, many times. If you've got a really good game and you take that great game and you just do the bits that are important to that game and you play to the strengths of the machine you're converting it to, which this does really well, then a great game remains a great game. I really like Speedball 2, always have. And this is an exceptionally well done and good demonstration of what the C64 could deliver when it needed to. And boy, did it need to at this time. It needed to just stamp itself a little bit. Just remind everybody that the C64 may very well only have had 64K, but it was certainly creating just as playable games with a little bit less fidelity. And I think that's a testament to the coding and to the dedication. And I think somebody who made this conversion really liked and loved Speedball 2 on the Amiga. There's love in there. You feel it when you play it because it just plays the same. Really competent conversion, that. I think 90% is a bit of a kick in the balls, really. I'd have given this a gold medal if it was me, because we need a gold medal. And this is one of the greatest conversions we've seen from an Amiga. I mean, look at all the bad ones we've had. So when a good one comes along, you should really praise it. You should really praise it for being a good one.
Yeah.
And it is. So I agree with you completely. I wouldn't say it was better than the Amiga one, but that's only because I have such an affinity and have played the Amiga one till I literally already had blisters on my hands. And I played almost one of the only Amiga games I bought. We played this together many times. Well, I had this. Yeah. I got it when I had an Amiga 500, and later, of course, I had the 1200. And this was one of the go-to games. This and IK Plus on the Amiga I only wore the disc out.
Yes.
So
yeah, true.
Classic game, and a really great version on the C64. Finally, something we can shout about after a few episodes where we've had the odd thing here and there. Really enjoyed my time with that. Really good. Really good.
Just interestingly as well, I did just want to say there was a Speedball 2 Ultimate Edition released in 2018, which is kind of what they did with Supremacy. So a load of codes and stuff went in and did a new version. So this new version includes a new loading screen. It's got enhanced sprites, playfield characters, digitized sounds. It's got the goal cutscene, so from the Amiga version, so it now has the goal bit where they'll play. So it's got all those kind of instant screen. They've redone all those as well. It's got the win for the Brittle Deluxe where they're all holding the beer up and everything. It's got that in it now.
Something tells me this isn't a C64. This is an RAU game, is it? So it won't be a C64.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think it's an enhanced one. Yeah. So
it will be. It'll be RAU, but that's okay.
It's got the full screen loss, when you lose and you're like, oh, it's got that.
Yeah.
It's tiny in this version, but it's full screen now and proper.
But it's still good
in the new version.
I love these new versions that they do. I love them.
It's on CSDB. It's called Speedball Duology. Graphics by John Egg.
Hey.
John Egg. Soul Cross, our friend from the podcast. Stee86. Knight Rider the trainer. Finchy did the text. Knight Rider works at Bordeaux did the docs. Finchy Ghost. Harry Pothead, P. Collins, just give him a sort of credit, and Fide did some work on it. But yeah, you can find that on CSDB, Speedball Duology, it's called. Duology,
Absolutely.
Duology. There you go. All good. Speedball 2, all very, very good. We like. That's it. That's the first game for this week. We've still got one more this part, so let's move on to that. And when I say move, I mean bounce. Let's bounce along to the next one. And Graham, well, it's your job to tell us all about Bouncing Heads.
A peculiar game, this, really.
That's one way of putting it.
It's a bit of an odd bod. This was published by Zeppelin Games. Now, Zeppelin haven't done us any disservices. Generally, their games have always been pretty good.
They've always been all right,
budget games. Well, this is a budget game, $3.99. It got it cost 63% in Zap. And this was created by Steve Metcalf, who I think this is the first game of a few others that he does on the C64. Now, how many of those we'll get to over the next few episodes and over the next year or so, I don't know. But that's, this is one of the games that he did, but I won't list the ones that were out there because, well, we haven't looked at them and maybe we won't. We don't know, do we?
Don't know.
It's an odd old thing, this. So I found some instructions to it, and the instructions were, I couldn't find an actual box art or proper instruction manual for it, but I did find the ones that they'd released with it. And so because you could load in the version that we had, you had two options. You could load in the docs or you could load in the game. So upon loading the docs, I thought, well, at least it might explain if there's a story, but there isn't really a story to this as such. At least not the one that I could find. It just said that it says in the description, you have to eat the lips scattered throughout the maze. You need only to eat as much as required to warp to the next level. And then by doing that, you need to seek the go tile. This is displayed on the top of the screen. See figure, animated lips don't count, but they give you lots of points. So, and it doesn't take Einstein to forget what you really need to do in this game, to be fair. So I'll sort of just describe the game as we go and I'll work it that way. Yeah. So it's a mishmash of ideas. This is a bit of Pac-Man, really. Well, quite a lot of Pac-Man in there. Hints of Bounder in the way it looks a little bit as well. bits of Bomboozle, I think, in there a little bit, and the overhead view in Bomboozle that you could have, a little bit of that. Things start colourfully enough as well. Lively title screen with big, bright, bouncing sort of title sprites, bouncing heads, lots of colour on that screen and movement. No music, though, which was a surprise, and B, a mistake. You can press 1 or 2 for 1 or 2 players, and the spacebar will allow you to start at levels either 1, 4, 7, or 10. You can press the control key, which selects the game type, although I didn't actually know what game types there were, but I just assumed that changed them. And there's also a level editor for this as well. So there's quite a lot packed into a little package, really. So you'll want to start the game, of course. I started at level 1 just to get the feel of things. And that's where you press the fire button. The game itself, when you get there, is viewed top-down styly. You control a bouncing head from the above view, which is odd, but it is what it is. And you control it with the joystick, and you must work your way around the suspended tile platforms and maze, collecting the lips and the various items that are dotted about. The idea is for you to collect enough lips to clear the tiles to be able to warp from this level to the next by finding the go tile when indicated to do so. Of course, the route isn't going to be easy. The maze is split into various paths, with some of the routes blocked by spawning enemies. These will patrol and wander around the maze, and should you run into them, or if they run into you, they will suck your brains out or eat you. I'm not quite sure what they do. It kind of sounds like they're sucking, but it sounds like you're being eaten. Either way, it's not good for you, but it's not.
No, it's not.
You can, of course, collect little zaps, which are dotted about as well, which allows you to shoot at the enemies, but they will respawn from their spawn point. So the best thing to do in this game, I found, was to just keep moving and do your best to avoid them, or just wait for them to go in opposite directions and scoot around that way. The graphics on the whole are fun. The UI is a fairly simple character-based affair at the top, offering some sort of basic information. There's a decent typeface behind that, though, which I quite like. So I'll do like a good typeface. You'll find your scores for your play 1 and 2, and then from left to right at the top, there's the number of tiles that is required to be cleared, the current level you're on, and then your remaining time. Under that, there's some large numbers, and right to left, those are your number of lives, the number of safe falls you have, and your remaining number of zaps. The remaining window space is the game, with a decent base relief effect on the tiles and a somewhat classic 4-color medium res look to things generally. Your bouncing head is a single sprite in size, but functions well, and everything controls okay. You move around at a decent pace, and the screen moves around with you, with no real issues to the scrolling as such. The sprites have reasonable animations where needed, and objects to collect are fairly well defined given the resolution that you're playing at. Nothing majorly disappointing with that overall. Pretty challenging, though. It plays out a bit like I said, a bit like a Pac-Man, more than anything else, I think. But there are some nice touches and panics proceedings, and the sounds in the game do help move things along, but they're the only sounds in it. And again, a little piece of music in here would have lifted this so massively. It's almost ridiculous, really. Yeah. And I get it. Pac-Man just has a noise in the background, doesn't it? And it kind of works. And the noise of you eating the pills and whatnot, the ghosts. But these kind of games on the C64, it needed, if this had had a Hubbard soundtrack or a Walker or a Whittaker soundtrack in there, some little loop in the background, that would have made this game feel so much better. I guess it is what it is.
Zeppelin game should have been Adam Gilmour, I thought.
I don't quite know why it's missing. It felt like it was missing as well. I thought it broken. When it loaded, I thought, is it broken? As you move to the next level, you'll get bonuses for the amount of extras you collect, time you've got remaining, that kind of thing. And then you'll progress, and the complexity of the maze increases, and the colours might change. You'll get switches, bridges, one-ways, and all the added complexity and game mechanics that do elevate this from just being a wander around the maze game. It's actually a good example of adding what we said a couple of the other puzzle-style arcade games that we've talked about needed in the last couple of episodes. There was that one from Ash and Dave, if you remember, where we said, it just felt like exactly. It needed some extra mechanics. Well, this has got them, and it applies them, and so that does make you feel a bit more interested. Is there enough to keep you interested? I think there is. There's a variety to things. The game's challenging. Maybe it lacks a little purpose or drive. And I felt that because I didn't really know why I was ahead. The loading screen for this shows a number of different heads all being chased, and I wasn't sure if that was some part of a story arc that was in here that I just didn't have access to. So I don't know. It just felt like I needed an explanation as to why I was in a maze running around. I mean, I know there isn't one for Pac-Man, but I sort of think that a game like this that sort of, if it's just running around a maze and doing Pac-Man-y type stuff, fair enough. But it just felt like it needed that because it would have given me a compulsion to want to get further. If I was rescuing, not Bounder, but if I was rescuing the Bobby Bearing style I was rescuing some of my family members or other heads or something like that, it would have given me a compelling reason to just keep pushing onwards. But I suppose it's not that kind of game. It's more of an arcade style game, really. But there is a fun, reasonable game underneath all of that. And it is quite reasonable money for what you get, really. There's a mini niggle, I suppose. There's always a little bit of a niggle, isn't there? The way the screen scrolls up and down is slightly different from the way it goes left and right. And it's only different because the view is more restricted in those directions, which means the enemies coming from those directions can sometimes run into you really quickly without you being able to avoid them or be able to shoot them. Mm-hmm. And that is a problem with this. Sometimes it feels like you can be killed and not really do anything about it. You can't really get away because you just reaction times, unless you're, an Olympiad or something, and maybe it is my reaction times, and I have to say, take ownership of that, it might be that. But it did feel at times that as I was going up the screen, more than down, but as I was going up the screen, sometimes just an enemy just seemed to appear and launched at me from nowhere, and I was like, oh, okay, there was an enemy there. And it's all tied in where the spawn points are as well. Sometimes you'll shoot an enemy and then it'll spawn instantly next to you, and it's just, there's little niggles. They are niggles though, but they do, in the early levels, you don't notice them as much. When you get to level 10, if you try level 10, you'll notice them because it's a lot harder the logic of the level is harder. In that one, you can only go in certain directions. You've got to switch certain things onto certain pathways. Sometimes the enemies will ignore you. Sometimes if they see you, they'll give chase, but you can't really get away from them if they do that in that level. And also if one just appears out of the mists of time and space and just jumps on you and just eats you, you can think, well, okay, that's a bit annoying. But on the later levels, it's quite unforgiving for that. You do, by the way, when I said that you can get, I guess you're not free falls, but you can pick up on objects that will mean that if you fall off a thing, you don't instantly die. You just go back to a sort of a point beginning of that level and you don't lose a life. But you've got to collect those, and sometimes trying to risk yourself for those is almost pointless. And you do face a bit of a risk-reward strategy in this game. Once you get to the point when you can go to the next level and find the go icon, you can collect more of the tokens that are on the lips that are on the screen to simply gain more points. So if you wanted to play the game to game the system and get more points, and sometimes some of the lips are worth double the points as well, you can do that and try and challenge yourself to collect everything and clear the entire screen. Or you can just go straight to the go and go to the next level if you want. So I know I quite liked it for what it was. There's some okay graphics in here. They kind of work for what they are, and the different color variations. It felt like a C64 game, but at the budget end that this is operating at, they're more than passable. The layouts get quite complicated later on, and they are quite challenging, to say the least. So expect to be challenged with this. But all in all, I thought this was a good, competent game from Zeppelin at a good, affordable price, a logical price for this. It needed some music, for definite. And I think that up and down the spawning needed a little bit of addressing, a little bit of tightening of the game testing screws there, I think would have really helped this. Another week with somebody testing it just to say, actually, maybe we don't spawn the enemies immediately on top of the player. But you know what? I enjoyed what I played and I thought it was quite good fun. It was missing the music. The only footnote I've got here, like I said, there's a big, massive level editor for this. I didn't get into it, really. I tried it. I couldn't make heads or tails without the instructions, and I couldn't be bothered to go back and load them again. But I can imagine that does, if you took the time to create levels with it, add an extra dimension to this. In the same way that it sort of works for those kind of modern version of Mario Maker. Not as simple as that, but making your own levels for your mates to play, that's never a bad thing, especially if you've only paid £4 for the game. That's not a bad thing to put in there as well. So I quite liked it. It's quite good fun, very simple logic to it all, if you like that kind of Pac-Man in a maze type idea. And above all of that, it was £4, which is about the right price to pay for something like that. 63%, it's probably not far off the score I would have given it. It's about 3/4 good. Give it some music and address some of those game mechanic tweaks that you need to make. And this would have probably been in the 80s and maybe get scoring a lot better for a budget game. But because of those little niggles, I think it's probably about 3/4, maybe 70, something like that from me. But what about you?
There's one big niggle, but a maze game where I'm ahead and have to eat lips. I'm not sure what to think about this. It's a weird concept, isn't it? But what I do know, and this is the thing that really annoyed me, putting me back to the start of level 1 when I died on level 2. No.
I thought that, but it's not actually what happens.
So what happens then? Because I was back at the start of level 1.
It's complicated the way the bonus stages and the levels work in this.
Well, either way, I died on level 2. I was stuck at the start of the beginning 1. I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, it's a ridiculous design decision. It's just stupid. It's annoying. I don't want to do extra stuff. Just let me do the level I'm on. I mean, aside from that, it's not terrible. As budget titles go, it's got some nice scrolling. It is a scrolling maze game. It's a Pac-Man style maze game. That's what it is. We've seen quite a lot of these. And it's okay. For a budget game, it's fine. I noted down, same as you do, the enemies are on you too fast when they come from above or below because of the narrow window, because of the layout of the actual screen. I think there's only 5 5 or 6 tiles you've got on the vertical and about 15 on the left or right or something.
Yeah. I think it's about 5 or 6 high, isn't it? Maybe you're right. And I found that restrictive.
So when it's weird in that respect, because I think obviously the nice, maybe moving, if they could have moved the UI, I don't know if it is, but if they'd have moved the UI up into the border, give you a bit more screen space.
But maybe just it just needs something, doesn't it? You're right. It's like one of those tweaks.
Yeah, it's just too wide and too narrow. We saw it on one of those other games as well, yonks ago, where it's a top-down sort of gauntlet style, where it was really wide.
Yeah, we did.
And it's like, it just doesn't work. Get your ratio right.
We had a car racing game, didn't we, that did it as well, if you remember? Or it was a car game where you when you were at the top of the screen, you were
it was at the top of the screen.
Disadvantage. Yeah,
because it played, the game window was at the top of the screen and you started halfway up it. So you only had like a quarter of the screen in front of you to avoid objects. Yeah. So that sort of thing needs to be addressed. It's easy enough to control, wandering around, shooting the enemies. They're a bit faster, a bit annoying. It's responsive though. Maybe I should give it more. I can see why they gave it 63%. It's an okay idea. There's a lot there, the level creator and things like that, being able to skip levels and start later on and things like that. That's all good. Like you said though, it did need music. It just feels like it needs a bomb.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a bouncy piece of music.
Yeah. And just put one of them in and you'd be like, okay, yeah, this works. You're bouncing head. Yeah. Give me a bouncing music. But yeah, I'm not going to be too hard on it, but it's all right. It's all right. It's, you'd probably get around it, but yeah, it's right that it's good that it's got those kind of extra mechanics in. Can't remember what was the game we were looking at the other week? It was we said it. They were playing it all. They were really liking it on the Patreon. It's
not dissimilar to this in some ways as well, in the way that it's sort of
the one where you had to change the top. You had to change the direction of the panels, didn't you, to make the to make the flow right. I can't remember for the life of me. I can't remember what it is. It'll come to me though. I'm sure I remember in the next part. But yeah, bouncing heads. Not one I'm going to go back to, I have to say.
No.
I'm not going to bounce back to this, who is saying.
No, I wouldn't go back to it. I think I just wish it had music.
Yeah, I do. You could hear the tune in your head, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But it should be.
It's really weird that it had that. Really didn't have any. Even on the title screen, it seems such an omission.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. That's it. That's Bouncing Heads. That's our first couple of games for this week. Speedball 2 and Bouncing Heads. We are going to go away, take a quick break. We come back. We look at TV, new shows, and films. So please do stay with us.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Crash landing on a green planet full of vector graphics, can Sarah find a way to escape for real? Or is she stranded on a planet full of sun, sea, and chippy tea forever? Imagine finding yourself in a cinematic karate game, having to rescue a princess, or remain stuck under the run-stop key forever. What about finding yourself on a space freighter full of robots? Could you clear the decks? If you were transported back to a Wild West town, having to round up outlaws, could you survive until sunset? What if you were a wizard with a cat who must colour worlds? Could you beat the game, or would a virtual guitar solo announce your demise? Sarah might just be another visitor, but she doesn't want to stay a while, never mind forever. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, discover if there's a way out in Escape from the Commodore 64. Visit davidhearnwriter.com to find out more.
And we're back. That game, by the way, that we were on about is Interchange or Insecta Hecti in the Interchange.
Yeah, that's the one.
I knew it. Yeah, I didn't just look it up quickly. Didn't. I remembered. Honest. It's a stupid title, isn't it? Stupid name. Insecta Hecti in the Interchange.
Yeah,
but that's what it was. Right. Anyway, TV. What's going on, Graham? It's October 1991. 1st of October. The Comedy Channel launches.
It's still going as well, or is it Comedy Central now?
I think it's Comedy Central now. It's been that for quite a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had some very good cartoons on Comedy Central.
Yeah, what did they have on there? I don't remember
they used to have the
watching
classics
a lot
of Gumball and stuff and things like that on it.
I wasn't sure if that was on there or whether that was Nickelodeon. But I didn't have any of these channels back then. I didn't have satellite TV, so
I'm sure about more recently. I'm sure you used to come around to yours and watch Comedy Central, and you had the regular show and.
No, regular show's always been on. I don't think it was on Comedy
Central. All right,
I don't know. I don't think so because it's now basically wall-to-wall Friends on there, isn't it?
Is that it? That and
Comedy Channel,
Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think your animated shows are on Nickelodeon and what the other one's called.
Maybe I'm
Cartoon Network.
That then. Maybe I'm thinking Cartoon Network, Comedy Network. Maybe I'm just getting confused.
Yeah,
I don't
know. You'd have to look up what was on the original Comedy Channel launch shows. I'm not going to, but Somebody could.
Yeah, I can't be bothered. 3rd of October to 2nd of November, all month, ITV aired coverage of the 1991 Rugby World Cup. This explains why Kiri Tikanawa was in the charts the other week.
Yeah, she's back.
The competition is hosted by England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and France.
Excellent stuff. I do like rugby. I've never been a huge fan of the regular league, but if it's a big World Cup or stuff like that, or any of those, I tend to tune in a bit. If I'm going to watch the sport on TV, I quite like watching the rugby. It's quite interesting to watch.
I've never been a big fan of rugby. It's just never been my cup of char.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
It's for course, isn't it? Yeah, it's watchable. Yeah. It's one of the watchable things. But then again, I don't go out of my way to watch any sport on TV particularly. But rugby, I've watched from time to time. I've even watched football from time to time. But I always feel like I curse and jinx the very teams that are on the screen. So I tend not to, because it's like a jinx. So I don't.
You did used to go out your way to watch Trans World Sport. I seem to remember that.
Yeah, well, I like to see the different sports of the world. Egg and spoon racing from Taiwan was always a highlight.
Yeah, there'll be some downhill cheesing.
Yeah, scoops, of course. I think that's on the first time where I saw actual proper scoops. So
good old scoops. 5th of October, ITV screened the terrestrial premiere of the 1987 action film Lethal Weapon, starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
Took their bloody time with that, didn't they? Goodness.
4 years isn't bad. It's not a bad turnaround for them. It's got to go through video and DVD wasn't a thing then, was it? It's got to go through home rental, home sales. Yeah. It's got to go through the sell through where it gets to terrestrial.
Yeah, it was, yeah. True. But it was Lethal Weapon 2 was where it was at, wasn't it? Lethal Weapon was a bit of it wasn't as sort of sidekicky buddy, was it? The first one.
It was darker. It's darker elements.
He's a lot madder, isn't it? He's a lot more sort of mentally anguished, as it were, in the first one.
Yes, yeah. And actually, rightly now, I guess I would imagine that this was edited for TV.
Oh, heavily edited. They all were. Well, I say that. I've been trying to identify when the cutoff point happened, because at a certain point they just went, bollocks to this. We're going to just let them swear all they want. Then there was a sea change, wasn't there? Because it went from RoboCop saying "Why me" and Muddy Funsters, as you pointed out, and
aliens.
Yeah, and Yippee-ki-yay Kemosabe, wasn't it? Remember, which I think is probably worse.
For Die Hard, yeah, it probably is now. Looking back.
And now Lethal Weapon, of course, and I suspect there's all the F words would have been removed and fudged or flipped or whatever they did with them.
Yep.
Unless I'm not going to go back and no way of finding out really, but they did have a habit of doing that, didn't they? Because they showed them at 7:00 or something, so it was well before the watershed at 9. So because they wanted to maximise the amount of eyes they could get to see it, and all the advertisers that would have flocked to fill the in-between bits. And they had a habit of, if it was on at 9:00, they would have had to break for the 10:00 news, which is what they used to do, isn't it?
Oh, yes, on ITV, yeah.
Yes. So it would have meant that the news at 10 would have got in the way. So generally speaking, they put them on earlier, but they had to then censor them, which is just what they did back then.
Here's the weird thing, though. 5th of October, we're only a little over 2 months from Christmas. Why wouldn't you save a film like this for Christmas?
Well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? What would they have for Christmas? What have they got up their sleeve?
I don't know. But you'd think a big film. Lethal Weapon was a big film,
It was. It was indeed.
By this point, this series were quite big. So just why pay money for it then? Stick it on 5th of October.
And can you imagine? But at this point, by the way, and I don't know if you might remember this, you might not, but when ITV showed films like this, and when they used to bring on the adverts, and instead, because for years it was just it would just be some still screen with a still, it would be the movie poster. It would just say, I wouldn't even say ad break, did it? I can't remember what it just say. Was it back soon or something?
It'd say the name of the film.
But by this point, we had sort of little mini, almost animated GIFs where you'd get a picture of somebody looking angst-ridden and turning around and stuff like that. And I'm wondering what this one, because they made those themselves. They weren't released by the film company and said, use these. The ITV used to make them themselves. I'm dreading to think what that one looked like.
Yeah, I'm dreading it as well. You've just reminded me, though, of the one I saw for Jaws. This would have been in the 80s, where the little advert still, what someone had drawn. Someone had never seen a shark who drew that. Sharks don't bend like that. It's literally a snake. And I was like, that's not a shark.
Stupid. So stupid.
Which is also stupid because you've got the fundamental iconic poster for Jaws. You just rip that off, not draw a snake in the water.
Well, funnily enough that you mentioned Jaws, because obviously it's been its 50th anniversary recently, hasn't it? Which is mad. So Jaws is 50 now, and that means that when we went to study film studies at university, we were looking at films that were 50 years old as kind of historic films. Now, Jaws is one. How weird is that? And anyway, the reason I mentioned that is because the sting for Jaws later, when it was shown on ITV, I think it might not have been Jaws, the Jaws first one. It might have been one of the other Jaws, maybe Jaws 3 or 3. But it was the shark coming up, like a really evil-looking shark coming up, animated at the bottom of the screen of some not animated person. It was like really bad. It's like putting an animated shark onto a 2D poster. It didn't look good. And I just remember going, like, zooming in really quickly with that kind of slowdown effect that you do. You know, when you ease in and ease out, it did that kind of, like sharks ease in, like it eases in as it comes in to bite. Oh God! I remember looking at it like, sharks don't do that. Sharks don't slow down, like slow down to a nice stop break. They don't have breaks like that. They're frantic killers.
They are. Like, that took a turn, but yeah, those Jaws interstitials, terrible.
Yeah.
6th of October, BBC One airs Conundrum, the final episode of the original run of Dallas. The feature-length episode imagines a world in which the soap central character J.R. Ewing had not existed. So this has gone all It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. Do you remember we spoke about this because this was shown in the US ages ago?
Yeah, you mentioned it.
And we said it's got the devil character in it. Really weird.
I've got to watch it. I have to watch it at some point because I can't even imagine what it is.
It's really strange. Really, really strange.
I wonder if it's on YouTube or Vimeo or something.
Oh, was that the death of JR that we were talking about then? You know what? It all blurs into one, doesn't it? It wasn't good. I mean, which TV show was it out of all of those ones where a giant UFO appeared and kidnapped somebody at one point?
I don't know. Probably
one
Knots Landing. Falcon's Crest,
something
Dynasty.
Like that. There was one of them where it was famously the woman in it, a UFO appeared and just kidnapped her for an entire season. And goodness me, they went wild with it, didn't they?
You sure you're not thinking of Soap?
No, it was definitely one of these big, like Dallas and Dynasties and one of them.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. 11th of October, BBC Two shows the late-night Richard O'Brien hosted series Mystery Train, featuring cult and B-movie themed TV and programmes and films. I don't remember this at all.
I didn't until I looked at the little BBC archive list of what was on it, where it showed things like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman and stuff like that.
Yeah, rang no bells. Rang no bells at all. This would have been something I would have probably liked to watch.
I'm pretty sure you did, and I think you can still find clips and stuff of it out there. So, but there was.
What was on them? You've got a link here. What was on it?
Well, there's stuff about Roger Corman. There was Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, Rocky Horror Picture Show, of course. I don't know if you showed The Night Stalker. They showed some episodes of that sort of stuff. Sort of stuff. I couldn't find an exclusive list of everything that was on it, but that was some things that were listed that was on Radio Times, I believe. But
yeah, I don't know. I remember things like Jonathan Ross's Incredibly Strange Film Show and things like that, and obviously Movie Drome.
Yeah,
I don't remember this at all.
No, I didn't. But then that led me to something that I didn't know existed, which was the BBC Programme Index. Then did you know that existed?
No.
So it's an archive of, there's 11 million listings of every BBC programme and playable programme that's been on the BBC over the years. And it's just like a searchable index of BBC shows. Who knew that existed? Handy little thing, that. No, I didn't. So that was a little find, that.
Wow.
So it's a bit like a BBC wiki, but it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Your licensed dollars at work in there.
This is it. Yeah, well, you paid for it, you may as well have it. And you also, I think from there, it's got links to Radio Times issues, and I think you can click on them and see the actual listings that were on that day as well, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I might have a bit of an explorer of that. I might go back and read some of the Christmas issues of Radio Times.
Absolutely,
get all nostalgic while we're in the middle of summer.
Yeah, that's it.
16th of October, the ITV franchise auction results are announced and take effect starting midnight on 1st of January 1993. It will see many notable names going off air after losing their franchises, including Thames TV, TVS, TSW, TVAM, and Oracle Teletext. Central, though, is unopposed in bidding to retain its franchise.
Yeah, nobody wanted that.
Nobody wants Central.
Nobody wanted Central. TVAM. I remember them coming and going.
Yeah,
what were they replaced by?
We were talking about TVAM loads when they were on strike, weren't we? And they were like running shows backwards and stuff.
That's right, yeah. They didn't have a good run, did they?
No.
Was it TVAM that had Roland Rat? Was that them?
One Good Morning Britain. Good Morning.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so that was goodbye to them anyway. And also Oracle, of course, disappeared, which was the ITV Teletext, wasn't it? So no more 4 a.m. job seeker, whatever it was called.
Yeah, because TV, I suppose Oracle had just disappeared on it because, TV was going through the night now on ITV.
Yeah,
it was never stopping.
For it. No, there wasn't much call for it. I mean, you could call it up on some old TVs and the mysterious buttons and type in the numbers and mad old thing, really. That I remember a friend of mine going on a lot of dates from the dating that was on that Oracle. So, there was like dating service on there, and you could, go on there and, single guy looking for fun, that kind of thing. And then you could go on dates, and you went on a few. Not successfully, though. They were all highly pixelated, low-res people.
Yeah. And you had to press a button to make them exist. Where are you?
You couldn't swipe right. You had to just type 000 quick.
Click the teletext button and I will appear. Oh, there you are. You're not the same as what I imagined. I'm the same as I was in the picture, pixelated.
Exactly. That's how they appear, yeah. I thought you'd actually be a high-resolution person. No, this is me.
No.
Low-res Linda, they call me.
Not to be confused with low rent Linda. She's horrible.
She's horrible. You'll find her on teletext.
On CFAX.
On CFAX, yeah. She's not an Oracle. She's we're higher res than that. Goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. Low res Linda. Oh dear. And finally, cigar and pipe tobacco adverts are banned from British television.
It had to happen, didn't it?
The steps against smoking were in place, weren't they?
And good, because
it's a nasty, horrible habit.
Yeah,
sorry if you smoke, but it's a nasty, horrible habit. It is. And so I'll get behind that. I don't care.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think knowing the outcomes and the illnesses that come derive from that, and obviously people are addicted to nicotine, and all right, whatever, you do you. But I don't think they needed to be advertised. And it did see off though. Funny adverts, what do you call it, the Castello, is it, or whatever their cigars were called? And
it makes you think then, doesn't it? Sort of thing. The only way they could sort of take away from the horror of what cigarettes and cigars were actually doing to your body, sort of thing, was to try and make you laugh. It's like,
they have to. I think
they had to divert the attention from the fact that they're killing you to, aren't they a bit funny?
Yeah. The thing is, along with alcohol, at that time, they were the most regulated thing to advertise on TV. To the point, obviously, they were like super regular. You couldn't show them doing a certain thing. You weren't allowed to show them enjoying it. There's loads of rules around it, and alcohol was just as bad.
Didn't they cost as well? Was it around this time as well that I presume it would have been that they were banned from Formula One cars and stuff as well?
Yeah, I think that took longer, but yeah, I think you're right.
Because the Marlboro and stuff, I remember Marlboro being all over. Because I remember having the Scale Electric Formula One cars, and they had the Marlboro car just covered in Marlboro.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, back in the day at the Formula One events, and patrons will back me up on this that have ever been, they used to give cigarettes away. In fact, they used to do this at university. I don't know if you ever got that, but we had one time there was an event at the student union, and a lot of like scantily clad women came around handing out cigarettes from some cigarette company. I forget which one it was. Yeah. And so it was like free cigarettes for everybody. And they did that a lot at the Formula One. That was quite common.
But it was Mayfair. Mayfair was the cigarette of choice for most students, I seem to remember.
Yeah, or Sovereign. Yeah, Sovereign or Mayfair. It wouldn't be Lambert and Butler, was it? Got a Rambo and Butler.
No, Benson and Edges. Might be Benson Edges. I don't know.
It was smoke. You didn't smoke B&H? You didn't smoke, did you? I don't believe you smoked.
I've never smoked. No.
B&H. B&H wasn't. I used to smoke, to my dying shame. I don't now, but we did then. And
I don't know how people still smoke. Have you seen the price?
Can they afford it? Yeah. I don't. Thank God I don't. I couldn't afford that.
15 quid for 16 or whatever it is.
Well, you know what? People are allowed to make choices in their own life, and you choose. I mean, they can't put more warnings on the damn things, can they? I mean, goodness me, I saw they hide them in their co-op. You can't see them.
Yeah.
No, and then that was for a while. It was then decorated with vapes everywhere, and that's been, I think, mostly hidden away. So it was kind of like, and it makes it almost like people make choices, and that's fine for them. But I don't know that it's right to make people go in and almost feel like it's a dirty thing that they're doing, like, because at the end of the day, they're addicted to a chemical, and maybe yes, that's by choice. But you don't hide alcohol, do they? And alcohol's just responsible for just as many deaths and troubles, if not more. Yeah. Nowadays, so but maybe that'll come.
The spirits are usually all behind the counter in your little shops, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're not hidden. I mean, like in nowadays, of course, because they still advertise them. But you know what? Let's not get into I agree with, in principle, anyway. No matter what, advertising pipes and cigars and things, cigarettes and everything. Don't do that. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to be showing off in any way.
No. Let's get into some new shows, and all of these are new to you, I presume.
I ain't seen a single one of them.
Crazy. Right. But then again, I don't think I had. I don't even recognise some of these. 4th of October was The Legend of Prince Valiant.
No.
An animated television series based on the Prince Valiant comic strip created by Hal Foster, set at the time of King Arthur. I found the first episode, I had a watch of it. Got a lot of men with moustaches. It would have been ripe for dubbing.
I'm surprised we didn't. It was one of those sort of looking shows, wasn't it?
Yeah, go have a look at it and just think, the sequences in that, you go, I can almost hear the dub.
Yeah.
I can almost hear it.
I sort of got a very brief look at what it was like because I wanted to see what the theme music was like. Unfortunately, it wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't. 4th of October is The Power and the Glory.
Heard of it.
13-part television documentary series shown between 4th of October and 27th September, covering 100 years of motor racing history. 100 years.
Maybe it's worth watching. I don't know.
I bet it was quite good.
Does it take 13 parts for that? I suppose it does.
Don't know. You have a lot of Sterling Moss, I guess.
Yeah.
Nigel Mansell will be in there.
Yeah, he's always around.
He was. 5th of October, Performance. This was a UK television anthology produced by Simon Curtis for the BBC. 26 episodes, almost all of which were productions of classic and contemporary plays, including Uncle Vanya, A Doll's House, 6 Characters in Search of an Author, King Lear, The Deep Blue Sea. There's no way in hell I'm going to watch this.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm sure the performances are very good, but I've never wanted to see Uncle Vanya by Chekhov, and I probably never will.
No. 6th of October is The Boy from Andromeda, a 1991 New Zealand children's sci-fi television series. It was also co-produced by Canada's Atlantis Films, and was shown in Canada as a single film. 3 kids discover a young boy from Andromeda, the only survivor of a spaceship crash, join together to save the Earth and a passing Andromedan fleet. As you do.
Stupid. Passing Andromedan... Look, we're talking about interstellar distances again. All right? You don't just happen by from Andromeda to the Earth, all right? It's a long bloody way to go. You'd have to really want to go there. So you don't just go, I'll tell you what, just take a detour around the Earth while we're passing. It's like, okay, but it's going to take us 7.2 million years. So I hope you're prepared for that kind of time slippage on this project.
That's all right. I've got all the episodes of Legend of Prince Valiant to watch. It'll be fine.
I'm going to be watching them on repeat for quite a while. I was going to actually bore you to death with the actual statistics of how long a distance that would be, but I couldn't be bothered.
I think you've done that before.
Yeah,
it's a long way. I know.
It's a long way from Earth.
Yeah. That isn't, is it Voyager 2 that's just left the solar system after being going for something like 50 years or so?
Yeah, it was launched in the 70s, wasn't it? And it's only just reached the outer edge of our solar system.
Yeah, so it's not even entered the Kuiper belt or anything and stuff like that.
It's not even near the. It's not even that far out comparatively.
And the Oort cloud and stuff.
Nowhere near that. I mean, the distances are just ridiculous when we started to talk about interstellar distances and that interuniversal and intergalactic distances. Well, don't even get me started. It's that you're talking millions of light years away. It's ridiculous.
Yep. 14th of October, there was Sea Trek, a wildlife documentary, I guess.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't find much about it, but that's all I could find, that it was a wildlife documentary.
Concise, that'll do. 16th of October, Time Riders. This was a 4-part children's ITV show. It was about a motorbike riding time traveller. I could find nothing on this.
No, same.
I never heard of it.
No.
Filming was carried out at the Polytechnic of Wales.
Yeah,
you know what this is going to look like. You know exactly what this is going to look like.
Exactly, and also Time Riders, isn't that? I thought it was a name of a film or something, or is it?
It is from 1982 or something, 1983, I think, with Fred Ward.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
When I was looking for it, that's all I was bringing up.
And it also sounds like a sort of a Europop dance song, doesn't it? Time Riders. Da, 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 da. Some of the Hitman and her would get behind.
Yeah, and I would walk off from. 17th of October. So you think you've got troubles? Sounds weird. Warren Mitchell is a Jewish atheist from London living in Belfast.
Yeah. So I don't know how you feel about Warren Mitchell stuff. I don't like it. I never liked it. I've always found it to be Alf Garnett, and I just don't like it. Never liked it. It wasn't my era of TV. And whenever I've seen things like, Sickness and Health and things like that, and the shows where it's just an angry man shouting periodically racist nonsense, I find it's a throwback to a kind of television that I despise. I
think the difference especially was with the second one, where he had the black gay helper. I can't remember his name. But the difference is with that is that he's the joke.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good.
It's not like the Sid James stuff in the 70s, Bless His House and things like that, or whatever. It's not, I don't know whether it's your cup of tea, it's probably not funny, but the difference in those later things, I think, is that everybody's laughing at, it's like the Victor Meldrew stuff. People are laughing at him, and he is the, but so he's saying all this horrible stuff, but nobody agreeing with him, and everyone thinks he's just
but he's still saying it. Now, the problem is he's still saying it, and it's still punching down, even if it's self-deprecating punching down. It's still saying those things out, and it's, even if it's, look at the old crazy geezer saying the racist stuff. It isn't, look how funny he is. It's like, it's still an old geezer saying racist shit. And that isn't, I don't think it's very nice.
No, I get that. I get that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or anything. I just think there is a bit of a difference in the sort of angle of where the comedy is trying to come from, I guess.
It is, but I never really liked Warren Mitchell. No, I'd never seen that one. It just didn't sound like side-splitting, I have to say.
No, I did find a clip on YouTube, though. The only clip I could find, it's just someone going, my brother was an extra in it. It just zooms in on his brother.
Random.
It's a weird clip.
How random.
It's like, 17th of October is Captain Z in the Z Zone.
That sounds children's ITV written all over it.
It was commissioned by Scottish Television, produced by Tony Collingwood. Nope.
No. In association with Dick Enterprises.
Dick. Yeah, Dick. Good old Dick.
Look at that. Dick Enterprises and Hit Communication. Yeah, Dick Hit. Come on.
Oh, Hit Dick. I've got Hit Dick.
Hit Dick. I think Hit were the ones that did Bob the Builder, I think, and later down the line.
What did Dick do?
I don't want to know with Bob the Builder. Who knows? Those wounds run pretty deep.
Pete the Plumber. Oh, yeah.
The short-lived Pete the Plumber, yeah. He didn't want in the show very long.
No, probably won't. Take Two was on the 25th of October. You remember this? American crime comedy drama television series starring Rachel Bilson and Eddie Cibrian.
Never heard of it.
It was cancelled after one season, so that's probably why.
Okay.
Oh, something was anyway. Who cares? Oh, no, it ran for 5 seasons. But did it come back? Premiered on ABC June 21st, 2018? Oh, I don't know. Who cares? 28th of October, The Gravy Train Goes East.
Great.
A newly liberated Eastern European backwater of Slaka, headed by President romantic novelist Katja Princip, aims to join the EU. Unfortunately, its sole supporter is Hans Joachim Dorfman. Is that supposed to mean anything to you or me or anyone?
That's the blurb.
Are we supposed to know who Hans Joachim Dorfman is?
I'll tell you what, though. Say what you want about that crazy synopsis. The guy that pitched that is a goddamn sales genius.
You want us to make this? It'll be a hit. It'll be a hit. So, trust me.
And the sole supporter, you're going to love this, Adrian. It's Hans Joachim Dorfman. Dorfman?
Where do I sign?
Give this man a series. It sounds brilliant. Brilliant.
What's it called? The Gravy Train Goes East. Oh, it just gets better. Just gets better.
You had me at Katja Princip.
Oh, Dorfman. Is it his brother out of Animal House?
Yeah, it could be Kent.
Yeah, Kent
Dorfman's brother, yeah.
Yeah. Finally, 13th of October, there was Children of the North. British television thriller, written by John Hale. Comprised 4 episodes, was based on the novel trilogy, The Killing of Yesterday's Children. I don't know, never heard of it. God, what a terrible month for telly.
Yeah, I clearly either wasn't in or I wasn't watching anything.
No, we were 18 at this point. 18 and 19, and we were doing other
in October,
things.
Going out to Gulliver's on Halloween and getting ready for it, I don't doubt.
Yeah, probably. Film, though. Let's have a look at film, cinema. Did we go see any of these? I'm not actually sure. We might not have done, actually. I don't think we did. 4th of October, there was Out for Justice.
No.
It's a 3-word title. That can only mean one thing.
Yeah, he is out for justice. He's hard to kill. He's difficult to fire. And he's eating the pies now, isn't he? Goodness me, the guy's got wide.
Yeah, absolutely. He's more Stephen Albatross now.
Well, I've noticed that. If you noticed, he's gone from being in the early 90s. He's clearly been varnished because nowadays he doesn't look nearly as sort of creosoted as he does in that picture.
He looks very like you could put him up in the corner of your room, sort of thing, and put some plates on him. He looks like a bit mahogany.
He does, actually. And also, what really weirded me out is that he's now gone from being a handsome devil to looking like one of our old mates. It's kind of weird. It's like he's morphed into him. It's weird. He's converted.
He really has.
It's uncanny how much he looks like him. It's spooking me out, really.
Yeah. You could have also gone seen, if you didn't fancy Out for Justice, why would you? You could have gone seen The Commitments. I think most of Britain did.
Yeah, I didn't like it, though.
No. It was a big deal. It all got everyone into that music, didn't it? And everyone was hated A-in and loaded O-in. And I was
I'm going to do to the midnight. Mustang Sally was the big old thing.
Sally,
we talked about it, and all that. And It's a film about a young group of people that come together as a group, isn't it? The Commitments is the group name.
Yes, yeah.
But that's all I remember of it. I remember nothing else about it. So it's an Alan Parker film, isn't it? So other than that,
yeah, it wasn't for me. I couldn't get behind it. If you didn't fancy that, there was Let Him Have It.
Good film, that.
It is a good film. For those who haven't seen it, it's about a controversial post-war, I'll just read the blurb, 1950s London murder trial sent an intellectually challenged young man to the gallows for a murder he didn't commit. It's based on a true story. For the life of me, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry about that. But essentially what it is, it's he falls in with this gang. They're on top of a roof getting chased by the police, and one of them's underage. He's like under 18. He pulls out a gun, and the cop says, "Put the gun down," and he shouts, "Oh, let him have it, Colin or Steve, whatever his name is." He shoots the cop, and they try him for collusion or some, criminal conspiracy or something, murder conspiracy, whatever. The guy who shoots the cop gets sentenced to prison because he's under 18, but the intellectually challenged guy gets hung, and it's a true story. Hanged. And it's unpleasant. It's a British justice system. Appealed up to the Home Secretary, and it never got through. So it's a horrible story.
Yeah, and then famously later did they reopen the case and discover that it was a miscarriage of justice?
Well, famously? It would have been, because there's no way you couldn't have had the thing of doubt, because they always argued that Let Him Have It thing was him telling him to give him the gun, because he's saying, give me the gun. He's saying, let him have it. Yeah,
as opposed to let him have it was in speed. Yeah.
So there's any decent jury would go, there's an element of doubt there. You can't convict.
Yeah, but back in those dark times,
Yeah, but anyway, don't get me started. Also, there was Julia Has Two Lovers.
Rom-com of some description.
Yeah, romantic comedy drama about a woman who takes up with a mysterious stranger after she grows tired of her current boyfriend.
And side-splitting.
I imagine these are all just London only, aren't they? They're never coming to Grimsby.
Well, that or straight, probably straight to video, some of these.
Yeah. Finally, there's The Worst of All. Again, never heard of it. 17th century Mexican nun defies expectations, becoming a renowned intellectual and writer during the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expected that.
Nobody did, no. There you go. 11th of October, you could have gone seen Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
You could. I watched it not long back, actually. I watched this and the other one that's very similar to it.
What is that one? Is that
politics
Ford
haven't
Fairlane?
Aged very well. Yeah, the Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Yeah, its politics haven't aged very well, and it's sort
of.
In
what way? Because I can't remember much of it. What?
It's a film very much of its time. In the same way that there's another one that's Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. There's another one as well that's similar, as well as Ford Fairlane. There's a third one, and I can't think what that one's called, but it's not a terrible film. Bank robbers. It's two lone riders hold up a bank's armoured car to save their friend's bar from imminent foreclosure. Soon the mission goes awry when they discover the vehicle's unexpected cargo. It's a film of, I'm trying to think what the other one that's so much like it is, because they're so similar. It wasn't a terrible film, and it's kind of an oddball buddy film. It's just a bit misdirected, and the politics, sexual politics in it are a bit odd. It's a bit,
all right, okay,
bit 90s manly man, women as objects. It's a bit.
It's Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Mickey Rourke he's quite good in it, but it's almost like he's playing Bruce Willis in a weird way. It's really strange.
Okay. I've not seen this since back then. Is it the one with the long bulletproof coat wearing baddies, or am I thinking of another one?
No, I think it's that one. Again, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks since, in fact, a few months now. Because that's been quick. Since I watched it, but I kept getting this one conflated with another one, because it's a bit like The Last Boy Scout is another one that's a bit like it.
Right. Okay.
Where you've got that kind of burned out kind of anti-hero type premise for this. It's a bit like that sort of vibe, and it's got very, how can I describe it? Tony Scottish type
visual. Yeah, I know exactly
what you mean. Not Tony Scottish, Tony Scott-ish. Not as in Scottish. The Scottish Tonys.
Good old Tony Scottish. Oh, would you look at that filter?
But it's that kind of vibe. And sort of suffers a little bit with it, but it's bugging me now. I can't think what the other stupid film is that's similar to that.
I'll come to you. There was quite a few like this around this time, though, weren't there?
Yeah.
If you didn't fancy that one, there was Drop Dead Fred. Rick Bale, Phoebe Cates, isn't it? Phoebe Cates.
Yeah, Phoebe Cates. Yeah,
so he's a imaginary childhood imaginary friend, isn't it?
Yeah, he comes to life and just does stupid stuff and plays pranks and not great.
It's not its finest hour. I think this is it a Hollywood film or I don't know if it is,
Hollywood,
but it's like, if it's a Hollywood film, it's like they've seen Rick Mayall and gone, he's a crazy, wacky guy. Just get to do crazy, wacky stuff without realising that's not the point of Rick Mayall, I guess. But,
no, absolutely not. He's playing an odd character. However, I felt, upon watching some clips of it, that it was very much an influence on Jim Carrey in The Mask.
Oh, right, okay.
There's parts that are very, very similar. The way that Rick Mayall acts is almost the same in places as Jim Carrey does in The Mask. Very similar indeed.
Weird. And I've never put those two together, but yeah, quite possibly. Then there was Toy Soldiers. A group of troublemaking boys decided to take a stand when terrorists seized control of their boarding school. This had Sam Wisegamdian in it.
Yes, it did.
And what's his face? Wesley from.
I remember a mate of ours going mad over the soundtrack of this and raving about the soundtrack to it for some reason. I don't know. I'd never tuned into it.
It sounds like a young adult Die Hard to me.
Yeah, it totally is that. I mean, it's a bit like there was a few of them where they did this. There was the Red Dawn was another one where you had a bunch of youthful army.
Yeah, that was mid-80s, wasn't it? That one. That was Patrick Swayze and stuff.
Yeah.
C. Thomas Howell, I think, as well. Yeah. If you didn't fancy those, there was Poison.
This sounds weird. This sounds really weird.
Well, you can read this one out.
Well, it says, and I quote, "A boy shoots his father and flies out the window. A man falls in love with a fellow inmate in a prison. A doctor accidentally ingests his experimental sex serum, wreaking havoc on the community." It's an anthology that I guess somebody put together. What a weird thing.
I don't know. I've never
seen it, though.
Never
seen it. No, straight to video, no doubt. Never seen it.
Probably. Then there was The Rescuers Down Under.
Ooh, Disney struggling at this point.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this one.
No, it isn't good. That's why. Now, I don't know if this was where they were going through that, because a lot of these went from mini release to straight to video, and that was then they started to make quite a bit of an impact on the straight to video sequel releases for things like this, because obviously it's a sequel to The Rescuers, which was quite a big hit for Disney, albeit not as big as perhaps they wanted it to be. But they went through a phase of just releasing anything they could as a sequel to anything they could. So, but Disney's struggling, strange enough, at this point. I think this all predates some of the big Disney movies that come later. So
yeah, probably. There was also a film called Uranus.
Yeah, it wasn't on my radar, that one.
No.
Sure.
After World War II, a small French village struggles to put the war behind as the controlling Communist Party tries to flush out Pétain loyalists. That's not something I was going to watch.
No, I wasn't going to see that.
No. 18th of October, you could have watched City Slickers.
Yeah, you could have watched it.
I remember that being all right. Yeah, Billy Crystal's good. Good ensemble.
Yeah, famous in it with the line, "I crap bigger than him," I think was the famous line in there.
Yeah. It was all right. I don't know. I've seen it since, so I don't know how it stood up, but I remember enjoying it at the time.
It's a heartwarming film, isn't it? Jack Palance, one of his last roles, I think, in that as well.
Yeah, I think so. There's also Doc Hollywood. It's a Michael J. Fox vehicle, wasn't it? Very
much so, yeah. It's where he's the posh doctor from Hollywood, where he doesn't look like he's old enough to have even studied at a hospital. And then he ends up in some kind of bumpkiny country place, doesn't he? And he's sentenced to be there, according to the blurb. But he works at some kind of town hospital and falls in love and all. Yeah,
there's a beautiful young single mother probably that.
Yeah, there is. It's the same one that Patrick Swayze probably met when he went down there, because he was a doorman in the nightclub there, wasn't he, for a while?
Probably. You could have gone seen, and you really shouldn't have, Mannequin on the Move.
It's so bad, that film. So bad.
It is very bad.
Yep.
So it's a sequel to Mannequin. She's a peasant girl fallen under a 1,000-year spell this time. She comes to life whenever he removes the cursed necklace from her. I just remember this being awful. I mean, I've rewatched the original not too long back. It ain't good.
No.
It's a mess of a film. It's more montage and stuff than film.
Yeah.
It's real mid-80s filmmaking at its peak. No plot, no real story, just a series of things that happen. And
not good.
Kim Cattrall and thinking, but this is even worse. Terrible film. Dreadful. There was Femme Fatale. A worried artist tries to locate his wife who suddenly abandoned him, only to discover that she led a secret life, or two.
Yeah.
Proceeds to investigate her past and sets up a hornet's nest.
Yeah, popular in the old video shop, that one.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yes.
Did it have a good cover?
very provocative cover, very provocative indeed.
Oh, yeah, I've got the cover down here below. It's the Colin Firth one.
Yes.
I put the cover down here. I can, cover that probably got it rented more than it deserved.
And is that, it's got Lisa Zane and Billy Zane. So is that Billy Zane working with his sister? And I don't know if it must have felt very uncomfortable if it was.
Maybe it's his sister, maybe it's his wife.
Maybe it could be the Zanes. Yeah.
Maybe it's his mum.
Oh, God.
His gran.
Hey.
If you didn't fancy that, there was Edward II. It's a Derek Jarman film.
Derek Jarman film, so count me out.
I'm out. Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Tune in tomorrow, aka Aunt Julia and the Scriptwriter.
That was quite good, that. It's quite funny.
I don't think I've ever seen it. What is it? Who's in it?
It's got Columbo, isn't it? The guy that played Columbo was in there.
Peter Falk.
Yeah, Peter Falk plays like an aging screenwriter who's helping them write this radio play. You don't remember? It's the one where he keeps going on about Albanians all the time.
No.
It's quite funny. I think it's got Keanu Reeves in it as well, as I recall.
All right, okay. Sounds all right, I guess. Also,
it's good. It's quite funny. Yeah, I'd recommend it. I've gone rewatch that because it is quite a funny film, that, in its own little way.
All right, okay. Might check that out. What doesn't sound like a particularly funny film is the next one, Dr. Petiot.
No.
Based on the real life of Dr. Marcel Petiot during World War II, it was an MD living in occupied Paris, promised to help wealthy Jewish people among his patients to flee. Instead, he drugged them and burnt their bodies in his home while stealing their valuables. Lovely.
Story. Doesn't sound like a nice one, that, does it? No, I think I want to watch
scumbags,
that.
Aren't they?
Aren't they just?
Yeah. 25th of October, though, there was Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, John Singleton movie, Ice Cube in it, I believe.
Yeah, I think I watched it at the time. I can't remember much about it.
I think it was quite popular at the time. I remember watching it, probably on video though. I don't remember seeing it at cinema, but
no, it's definitely
pretty good.
Definitely video. There was also Dead Again. I did see this.
I remember you really liking that. Yeah, I remember you really liking it.
It was okay. I mean, I've rewatched it since, and it's weird. It's a weird film for loads of reasons. So it's a woman who has lost her memory, taken in by a Los Angeles orphanage, and her private eye is enlisted to track down her identity, but he soon finds that he might have a past life connected to her that endangers their lives. It's a neo-noir, sort of noirish, sort of, private detective, femme fatale type thing, but it stars Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson in the lead roles in an American story where they play Americans.
A bit strange. He directed it as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and I don't know why. They should have got American actors because you can't hear them talking in American accents and go, that's just Kenneth Branagh putting on a weird American accent and Emma Thompson doing the same.
Very strange offering, really, that.
Yeah, there's some good stylistic stuff in it. I seem to remember I liked it because it was quite stylishly directed. There's some nice shots and things like that. Yeah. And it's it's of its type at the time. It's like, ooh, what's the big twist? And is it past lives and cutting back and forth between the murder, the old murder and the new stuff going on?
Well, you went full Branagh for about a week, didn't you? After that, you sort of adopted his hairstyle and beard.
I did. I couldn't help it. He's beardless. Actually, he's bearded in the past in this, beardless in the present. So for that week sort of thing, when I was pretending to be in the past, I wore a beard. It was quite.
I remember that.
It was quite a lot of work on the old Gillette.
Yeah, it was full Branagh mode, wasn't it? It was all a bit awkward for everybody, really.
Yeah. I started shouting a lot for no reason. It's okay. It's all right as these things go. It's a bit weird. Flirting was also another film you could have watched.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, I've never seen that. The Mortal Thoughts was another one.
Crap Basic Instinct, that.
Yeah, two detectives interrogate a hairdresser on two homicides she may or may not have been involved in. That's like Sea of Love, another film.
Exactly. It totally is that. That's why it's just one of them.
Yeah. But it's weird that the murder weapon in Dead Again was a pair of scissors as well. I'm guessing if it's a hairdresser, that the murder weapon was a pair of scissors. Must have been a month for the scissor murders.
Or the shaver, it just took ages. It's not so much cutting as burning, really, now.
It's not even breaking the skin.
It's chafing. It's gone red hot, like red hot. Oh, don't aftershave. I'm not going to die from that, though. I'm just telling you.
It just hurts. It really hurts.
It's really sensitive now.
And finally, there was Homicide, David Mamet film, written and directed.
Yeah, I've never seen it, and I think I'd like to. It's got
Joe Mantegna.
Yeah, I've heard it's quite good, but from the reviews, it said it's pretty good.
I would imagine it is pretty good if it's directed and written by David Mamet.
It'd be tight scripted, that's for sure.
It'd be very tightly scripted. There'd be no spare words.
No. Put the coffee down and watch that one. Every
word would have been had been there for a reason.
Yeah, that film is for closers only.
Absolutely, ABC. And that's it.
That's the cinema it's on.
Yeah, the ABC cinema.
ABC. The ABC cinema. Go and see it tomorrow. Thanks, Dave. It's a niche advert, but okay.
Yeah, always best cinema. Not a stellar month, I have to say. Some okay stuff in there, some unusual stuff, some bits and bobs, but yeah.
No Halloween scary movies, though, which is odd.
No, especially you'd have thought they'd been released for the 25th of October, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I thought there'd have been at least a Halloween-y scary movie, but there isn't one. What's going on?
Don't know. Different times, mate. Different times. Anyway,
saving it for Christmas.
So, yeah, unlike Lethal Weapon. Bloody fools.
Put Halloween on it. Put Halloween on as a special or something, you idiots.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing, people? Right, on that note, let's take a break. That's all the films, TV and stuff going on. We've still got 2 more games, crapver, charts, and all that kind of stuff still to come. Back in a moment.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Growing up in the 80s is a chore for Sarah, who feels misunderstood by her parents and badgered by Reese, her bothersome brother who incessantly prattles on about his treasured computer games. When Reese tells her one of the games tried to pull him inside the computer, she laughs off his fanciful fib. She waggles the joystick to disprove his fairy tale and is pulled into the computer. Now trapped in games she'd never had any interest in playing, how can she possibly beat them? With the help of feisty Nell, another trapped player, can Sarah find her way back home, or is it game over? An evil madman, a hostile planet, bloodthirsty robots, a never-ending throng of karate experts, and relentless digital soldiers will do their best to ensure Sarah never escapes. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, find out if there's a way out of the beige bread bin of betrayal for Sarah in Escape from the Commodore 64.
And we're back. We're back to finish off October 1991. We have 2 more games. The first of those, Graham, is Dragon's Kingdom. Dragon's Kingdom. You could have bought this for the princely sum of £10.99.
Princely.
In 1991. Princely indeed. If you had done that, if you'd swapped those coins for this, you might have found yourself with an overwhelming sense of familiarity.
Just a bit.
Which we'll come to when we get to the game. Something might have looked familiar about this. But before then, apart from a couple of long plays on YouTube, it's a game lost to the winds of time, this. I could find nothing. There's not even a box cover on Lemon or on Moby Games for this.
Goodness.
And it only came out on the C64. This is an exclusive. C64 exclusive. So finding any kind of story or box details for this just proved impossible. I couldn't find any. Maybe they're there, but I looked. And I couldn't see anything. It was published by a company called Genius. Not Genius, Genius.
Genius.
And it's copyright Lionel, whoever he is, Linel.
Lionel.
It was created by Alberto Frabetti, and the music is by Alberto Frabetti and Reen Overhand. Rain Overhand. So,
Overhand, yeah.
Rain Overhand. In 1987, Frabetti has a game listed called Rudy Hammer, maybe chuckle, which was his first attempt to rip off the game that this rips off. In 1988, he did something called Varden, which was a further attempt at the game that this rips off. He just wants to make this game. And now in 1991, we've got Dragon's Kingdom, a third attempt at the game. Moby Games, it's got a bit of a write-up of the plot, which is thus. This is all I could find. You, Graham, are the hero Darius. Your land, Thalax, has been plunged into darkness by the King of Demons, who released evil demons from the swamp of Sogoth when the king turned himself into a griffin. Are you listening to this? Are you hearing that? Why did the king turn himself into a griffin?
All the good ones do.
I mean, we've all been there on a night out. Just feel like being a griffin. What's going on? The King of Thalax, Duncan, has chosen you to traverse the land over 3 levels to destroy as many demons as you can before destroying the King of Demons. So Darius, sent by Duncan to kill the King of Demons, because the old king turned himself into a griffin. Anyway, it starts with the loading screen saying the loading screen actually says the loading music is by Marco Maramai. I don't know who he is. He's not listed on the credits or anything. It's got a nice logo for the game. But when the game loads itself, we've got a title screen where your suspicions that this is based on another game might start to appear. The presentation here is not bad. It's a logo at the top, some credits and a high score table. The racy bit of music. The music in this game is actually not bad. It's pretty good. I didn't mind the music for this game. At the bottom, though, we have the UI. So never a big fan of UIs on the title screens, but it's here. we've got a score, got a high score, time remaining. Underneath this, though, we've got a little guy in a loincloth. Be alive, 3 of them. And there's a sword in the middle of the screen. It's starting to look familiar. Pressing fire tells us to be ready. And then we're greeted with the game itself. Takes up the top 3/4 of the screen, UI at the bottom, and it's Ghosts and Goblins. Let's just say what it is. It's Ghosts and bloody Goblins.
Yep.
You control Darius. You run from left to right in your loincloth while ghosts and other creatures are raised up or appear from the land. You can throw a sword. You must jump over boulders to progress instead of gravestones. It's Ghosts and Goblins. The first thing you'll notice, though, is this rock hard. It is absolutely rock hard, this game. Stupidly hard. And it has controls that are slow and stiff. They don't help. Left and right, like I said, make you run and jump. Fire to shoot. You can't jump forward when up against a boulder, which is a pain in the ass, and I hate that in games. Or if you jump up to get to a level above, but if you catch that level, you just then go up. You don't carry on and go forward, you just up. So it means its navigation is way trickier than it needs to be. You have to sort of make sure you're jumping from far enough away, but not too far because then you'll miss the jump. It's annoying. Enemies are fast. They're everywhere. There's loads of them. So progress is slow, cumbersome, and tricky, to say the least. There are some checkpoints, which are welcome, but with only 3 lives, there'll not be much help because the combo of enemies and the speed at which some of them fire bullets at you is stupid and insurmountable, I have to say. There are some positives to this, though. I mean, there are 3 levels. I watched a long play on YouTube where they're just stuck, the cheat on, don't hit, and they'd gone away through it because they said that you couldn't get through it. It's impossible. And there is actually some nice pixel art backgrounds as you progress within this. Some nice little bits of graphics in this, which are quite pleasant to look at. Each level is prefaced with a little map that, just like the Ghosts and Goblins, into 3 levels. You see them as you progress along. And if you die, it shows you where you are on the map. And if you start from a checkpoint, that's sort of halfway through the level. The levels aren't very long, though, but it doesn't matter because you'll never get through them because they're too bloody hard. The music, though, as I said, decent throughout. Some nice tunes. People on Lemon noted that the 3rd level is a version of the theme from Argento's Phenomena, which is weird. It might be.
Weird, okay.
It might be. I don't know. I did listen to Phenomena earlier today to sort of put it together, and I was like, yeah, I can kind of hear that. Okay. But, who cares? The real issue is the difficulty and the length. 3 levels long. So level 1 is trees and rocky platforms. Level 2 is underground caves. Level 3 has this odd platforms. It's got like a crosshatch stitching background. It's really weird. I don't understand any of this. And there's no bosses. So when you get to the end of a level, you just walk through a door until the end of level 3. And if you do the end of level 3, so if you kill the final boss, you loop back to the beginning to do the same 3 levels with completely different, harder enemies and enemy placements. More stuff coming at you. There's fireballs everywhere. It's just a nightmare. So technically, I suppose you've got 3 levels, but you go through them twice with different enemies. If you do make it through them, you get a strange message that's written in Italian English. I'm not going to knock it. Obviously, his English is better than my Italian, so fair enough. But it's a bit odd. The problem with this is it's just priced completely wrong. It's budget fare, this. And it should be a budget game. If it had been released at £3 or £4, the price for budget games at the moment, then the lack of levels and the punishing difficulty could have been ameliorated somewhat. You'd have kind of thought, okay, it's rock hard, but it's a budget title. They're all rock hard. A lot of them are dead hard. So that, and so the lack of levels, I expect that. There's just 3 levels to get through. But I keep having a crack at it because I've only spent a few quid. You spend £11 on this, though. It's just a knockdown Ghosts and Goblins. You're like, no, Ghosts and Goblins, how old is it now? 6 years? 5 years? Just no chance. Like I said, the music is good throughout, and there are some nice examples of pixel shading in this. And there's some decent sprites floating around at times as well. But there's not a lot really to say about this because if you played Ghosts and Goblins, you'll know what exactly this is. You run left to right, climb some platforms, shoot stuff, throw your duds. Did you pick up the axe?
No.
It's utterly useless. It throws it in a massive arc and everything comes at you from straight left to right. You don't hit anything and you can't jump over them. It's those enemies from the beginning which just float along here and your axe goes, woo. It's like, no, it's pointless. But the axe is there in the way and you can't avoid it. It's so ridiculous. There are other weapons as well later on, I think. But it's just, what were they thinking? The guy just clearly wanted to make a Ghosts and Goblins variant. He'd been trying for 2 other goes, and this is his final go at it. But it's stupidly hard, and it's way too short for a full-price game. It reminded me of that Beyond the Ice Palace as well, which is another bad Ghosts and Goblins version with only 3 levels. Same thing, pretty graphics, too hard, and not very enjoyable. You're a bit of a masochist. Yeah, give it a go. It's going to hurt you. Everyone else, though, should leave this well alone. Leave this well alone. And then... just go play Ghosts and Goblins or the new version of Ghosts and Goblins that got released.
Yeah.
give this a miss. You're not missing anything here. What did you think?
Same. I mean, the guy was clearly driven to make Ghosts and Goblins variants, didn't he? I mean, he'd done it, twice before this? Vardan was the first attempt at this?
That's the second Vardan. Rudy Hammer was the first.
Rudy Hammer was the first one. And he was planning on making a Dragon's Kingdom 2, according to the games that weren't.
Was he?
He had all the code base and everything. He says, quote, while working on Dragon's Kingdom 1, I developed a language called Monster Language. Please tell me that was computer-based. Which was able to create and manage all sorts of animations of enemy monsters. On DK2, I developed Monster Language 2, a truly kick-ass package which was able to manage every possible situation of the monsters used on the best coin-up of that time. Really complex animations built up using 8 sprites, etc. DK2 would have been the best platform ever. Enemies and levels at the same quality of a coin-up. Unfortunately, it didn't see the light of day due to a lot of problems. A true pity. And then when somebody said, so, have you got any code of that? And he was like, oh, no, it's all gone. Sorry, any of that. Would have been amazing, though. Would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing. I showed it to someone else at another school, but you wouldn't know them.
Exactly, yeah. He's still booing him still booing us when he came in.
Still doing Dragon Breed when he's trying to make Dragon Warrior 2. Whatever it is.
So, the guy was obviously keen to make, Ghosts and Goblins, and so did so several times with varying levels of I wouldn't say success. This was just basically an insanely difficult Ghosts and Goblins with a really bad jumping problem, which was in all of his games, which is you have to diagonally jump across the rocks. You can't just sort of jump and it's stupid. Yeah. Makes it really frustrating. Some okay sprite work, some okay backgrounds, but it's literally a clone of a better game. And go and play that. Now, the people are divided with this on Lemon. Some people liked it. Some people think it's great. Some people say it's a good clone of Ghosts and Goblins. I would argue that it's not because it's next to impossible. So just go and play Ghosts and Goblins. At least you stand a fighting chance at getting somewhere on that. And do play the later version with all the extra bits because that's probably worth having a go at. This, nah, not very good. I mean, I admire his dedication to making the same thing over and over again. And he's, even if he's developed his own language to do so. But maybe call it quits after the fourth go. Let's leave it there. I didn't think much to this. Oh, and the price tag is absolutely outrageous. So it should have been $2.99, $1.99 at best, and you might have got away with it a bit more, but not for this kind of money. No way. You just go and play Ghosts and Goblins, which is out on budget by now anyway.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So go and play that.
Sensible option. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. That's Dragon's Kingdom. Let's move on to our final game for October 1991. And Graham, it's an odd one, but it's down to you to tell us all about Swap.
Yeah, it is a bit of an odd old thing, this. A puzzler game, I suppose. This came out... now, this was weird because it was published by Palace Software. Now, I thought Palace Software had gone.
Long gone. Yeah, long gone.
Anyway, turns out that this appeared from somewhere. It was copyright Microids, which sounds very painful and something you need an ointment for. And it was coded by Charles Strangeloop Goodwin. He also did Gates of Dawn as well, if you remember Strangeloop.
Yeah.
So according to one of the blurbs, of which now the only blurbs I could find were screen grabs of the various cover arts that were on Moby. But according to the Amiga box, it says Swap is a sophisticated puzzle game that will challenge your brain power to its limits. Working against the clock, you will need all your analytical abilities and speed to master the situation. Increasing and faster levels of difficulty mean the challenge continues on an upward spiral. The objective of the game is to clear the board completely. To do this, you must swap around geometrical shapes and various colors to create homogenic blocks, which will then disappear. Careful planning is required to avoid forming isolated clusters. Once you've mastered one level, different types of shapes and increasing speeds will present you with tougher challenges. Just when you think it's getting easier, then you've got lots of features there. More than 300 levels of play, practice modes, blah, de blah, de blah, de blah, de blah. The C64 one is less explanative than that. And it says, is your brain big enough for Swap? Are you a budding Einstein, or are you only good at lifting heavy things? Bit derogatory. Find out. Test your brain power with Swap, a compulsive puzzle game that requires thought, planning, and concentration. Thought and concentration, kind of the same thing. Presented with a board of coloured tiles, you must swap pairs around to create clusters of the same colour, which then vanish. Final aim is to clear the board completely. No problem. Are you sure you should have made that move? Swap also features 3 different tile shapes, different sizes, and 6 different colours, so you can customise the level of difficulty. Gone are the 300 different colours and shades of the Amiga one for the C64. No, we got a good, somebody 3 or 4. Okay. Full competition mode, extra game features, debits for stupid moves, avalanche facility, and supplementary tiles for when your brain power begins to flag. Okay, right. Well, there you go. There's the blurbs. And this came out on quite a few of the different formats. I'm only going to deal with the C64 one, but it came out on Amiga and a few of the others, as I'm sure you probably figured out by now. Atari ST, I think it was out on the Amstrad, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth.
Can't imagine this working very well on the Spectrum. Did it on the Spectrum?
I don't think it came out on the Spectrum. No, it's Amstrad, Amiga, Commodore 64, DOS, Atari ST, and PC 98.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Now you know. So you'll go. This is a game of unusual duality. So when it loads, you get a kind of a loading screen, which is quite colourful. It has to be said. It's a version of a Palace logo that I've never seen before. It says original version by Microy. So this is obviously a conversion by Charles Goodwin that he did at some point. And then there's a kind of an interesting-ish logo, which looks a bit like Multicoloured Swap Shop from back in TV in the early.
It's an odd one, isn't it?
Late 70s. Yeah. Anyway, when you get past that, you're presented with something from 1983. I'll come to this anyway. So what is it all really? Another single screen puzzler to add to the growing collection. That's ultimately what this is. Mm-hmm. This time, certainly one whose archetype found its modern niche. So this is, this predates all of these things, but this found its mojo with Candy Crush, Toon Blast, Two Dots, mobile versions of this kind of idea. Bejeweled. Those rule the roost for this kind of thing. So this is one of them, and a very early version of one of them. So that does make it a bit interesting.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Like I said, there's a brightly coloured title screen greets you, only to be replaced with something from 1983. I don't know. I didn't know if I didn't know any better at this point, I'd say the menu was programmed in BASIC. It certainly looks like it, and the music is a crap version of Beethoven's Für Elisa. So, and that sounds like it's been poked into the chips, like by poke commands. So the menu is a very odd thing. And you can choose from competition, practice. You can switch the effects on or off if you want. I wouldn't recommend you do. And load. And you can exit by using the joystick as a controller for the little arrow, and you move it across the items that you want, and you press the fire button to choose that item. But honestly, the menu looks like it looks like it's character graphics. It's really strange. And it's nothing like when you get into the game. It's really weird. Anyway. You're then presented when you choose the beginning with a sort of intro level sequence, which is, I think, some kind of code. I don't know what it was. It just presented you with a range of colours, blocks and shapes.
Yeah.
Then the game begins. The main grid is on the bottom left, and depending on the level you could be at level on, it could be squares, hexagons, or different shapes, triangles, with 4 or 5 different colours. On the right, you have the control panel, which shows you your current level, your score. There's an undo button, an exit button, an avalanche button, and a show remaining tiles button, all kind of in a kind of a weird grey base relief. Below that, there's a small grid of extra blocks, which you can use to help you match the colours and get rid of any difficult or stranded blocks later in the level if you want to. Remember, it said if your brain power struggles, you can use them. I don't know that that's the case, but, and everything in here scores to a certain degree, but you also, if you get penalised in this for doing not great moves, it seems, and your score can sort of be affected by that. It's a bit strange. And progression in this game is a bit strange because of it. You move your arrow, and in the main grid, you'll see a little indication as to where you are going. So it normally appears up, down, left, or right of the little boxes, depending if you're on boxes or around the size of a triangle or whatever shape you're on.
It's like a little glint, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a little sort of highlight.
Yeah.
And you press the trigger, and that will then flip the opposing tiles, depending on which direction and which kind of shape you're on, but it will flip them. And then what will happen is if you have 2 matching tile colours, and that will then make all of the matching colours that blend disappear. So you'll get a giant gap in the block. And the idea is that you do that enough times to remove as many of the blocks as you possibly can. So by doing that, when you clear as much of the grid as possible, you can go to the next level. As you do this, you'll see the meter on the right-hand side gradually increase, and eventually the word qualify will appear in there. And that's when you can, if you want to, hit exit and then choose from some options, which are save, next level, continue, or quit. So there's no automatic progression in this, which when you get to the end, when you qualify, you can just carry on if you want and try and clear the screen as much as you can. If you really want to, and you do get extra bonus and you can jump to extra levels if you do that. So the better you do and the more timely you do, the more likely you'll get a more complicated level next. It's a bit weird, the progression on it, but it is odd. But you actually choose once you get to qualify, you can just sort of go, I've had enough of this. I'm going to the next level, which you can do if you want.
No indication that that's a button.
No, it's weird. It's meant to sort of look base relief, but because they've only used 2 colours, 3, the greys, but on that they don't. It's a bit weird. It's a bit strange. The whole UI thing is a bit odd. Mm-hmm. So on the next level, you'll go after that, and you'll be presented with potentially different shaped tiles, like hexagons, like I said, or triangles, maybe more colours. Might be a bit more challenging, but the game logic is essentially the same, all said and done. You move around the grid, switch the tiles to match the colours, try and create more matches, and then aim to qualify or get the greatest score or whichever you were aiming to do. And that's kind of it. That's kind of how the game plays. It's a fairly rudimentary version of the kind of the sort of more modern versions of these things. It's sort of taken right back to the basics, really. As a puzzle game, I guess it's okay for what it's doing. And these kind of things, like I said, found their home on mobile platform years later. So I think if it has a problem, because that's how the game plays and you control that. And if you like that kind of thing, maybe you'll find some sort of passage of time with it. Maybe you'll enjoy a bit of time with it. But it's got two key problems. They're kind of the same problem. It's too simple and it's too boring at the same time. It didn't feel like there's really any challenge to it. You could just kind of click around and principally get to qualify just by clicking around. And you could do that quite a way through if you wanted to. So I was able to get quite high scores and progress through this with more luck than judgment, really. I was able to qualify pretty easily, clear most of the screens with relative ease. I moved through the levels very rapidly in that way. There's no real sense of collection or progression. It's just kind of boring. You just kind of do that. All right, in the next level, do that. Do you want to go to the next one? You don't have to. I'm like, okay, I will, I suppose. There's colour and there's controls in there, but the pace is very pedestrian. There's no drive. There's a nice idea in here, and it's years ahead of its time in terms of what this game would become, but it's missing all of those things that those games became. So it's like taking all of the extra bits of those games away and just taking it right back to just matching colour squares, and everything else is kind of an afterthought, apart from the shapes of the tiles. In of itself, as a very basic concept for a puzzle game, that's quite ingenious, but you need more. You need more than that. And this doesn't really provide you with much more than that. Now, I don't know if the Amiga versions and the other versions had more about them. Maybe they did. I don't know. Add to all of that and the general sort of pedestrian malaise that will set in as you play it, because you kind of feel it's a bit thankless and a bit dreary and a bit samey, actually. But the presentation is just out and out weird for this. It's got that weird 1983 aesthetic at the start, to this kind of colourful block and tiles thing, to this weird UI inconsistency with this base relief. It just there's no consistency to it. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say that the menu and controls around the game itself were added a lot later on, just so you could actually play it and get it started off. So I think that the main game colourful part was probably coded in machine code a lot earlier, or a lot later on, or say a lot earlier. And then in order for you to be able to sort of wrap a logical progression into it, the basic controls that were wrapped around that to so you could at least start the game and get into it. Because that's what it looks like to me. There's no way that main game is the same code base as the menu system, because it's just completely and utterly alien. It's like two different things. I actually thought when it loaded, it would loaded the wrong version of it in, because it looks so much like a homebrew version from 1983, like someone that typed in magazine thing. I thought, is this the right one? But of course it proved to be. So I don't know. If it's the game itself is okay. It's just not very exciting and there's not a lot to do. And it's very samey. Is it providing you with great puzzles? Not really, because there's no real challenge to what it's doing. And you're just kind of sort of clicking on coloured match tiles. And yes, maybe you'll go for sort of slightly big ones. You can press the avalanche button, I suppose. And what that does is it just drops all of because there's all of the tiles that are suspended in the air as you've gone through, make holes in the kind of grid. They'll all drop down a bit like they'll all drop to the bottom and then Tetris style, so they'll all land. And any colour matches you get at that point will then quickly match out. Maybe you'll get a bigger score doing it that way and clear it that way. And so that it is an extra dimension, but it doesn't seem to serve a purpose to do that. And it doesn't seem to have any restrictions. There's no real punishment for doing that.
No. It makes it really
why
easy.
wouldn't you just keep doing that? You just blast a few holes in the wall, click the avalanche button, get a reasonable score and qualify pretty quickly, I found.
Yep.
I don't know. It's full price as well. And I can't see the justification for that at all here. This is budget all day long. This has got budget games stamped on it. This should have been £2 at best. And with £2, maybe you get away with the kind of rough around the edges and the limited gameplay. It's a bright looking but dull game. It doesn't have enough puzzles to be a puzzler, lacks the presentation to be a looker, and has audio created with poke commands. I suppose it's playable, but for how long really? Not that long. So that was my encounter with Swap. I swapped for a bit and thought, well, I needed a bit more. It needed some more stuff. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird to see this kind of thing, but at first I was wondering why the shapes I was making, when you're swapping them around and creating holes, I was wondering why they weren't dropping. I was just left with space all over the place. And the first couple of levels, I actually completed that way, and I was like, oh, okay, I qualify, but this is a bit
You can
weird.
if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Then I discovered you could use the mountain button as much as you wanted, and it became a much more enjoyable game, because it was like, create some holes at the bottom, press mountain button, win. Like the first hexagon one, I just created some holes at the bottom, pressed it, and it just cleared the screen. I was like, yeah. Do. That's quite satisfying, but I didn't think I did anything because I didn't plan it. So it's weird. I don't understand what the point of the mountain button is when it should just be they drop when you clear them out. That should just be the thing of the game.
Should be the thing, yeah.
I mean, that becomes the thing when you get to Bejeweled and Candy Crush and Zookeeper and all those kind of things. But
I mean, and I'm giving it more credit, if that, instead of it being an avalanche button, which, like you say, exactly right, that should have just happened. If that was a rotate button, so if you pressed it, it rotated the screen counterclockwise or clockwise, and all the tiles dropped in a different way.
Yeah,
they just dropped, that would have given it. But then that's the sort of thing that they add to these games later down the line, isn't it?
Yeah, something later. I don't know. I wish the interface was a little slicker, though. I didn't like moving the sluggish pointer around, trying to just look for the little glints and then go, press the button. It's like, could that have been done better? Probably. There's something, like I said, I did find it quite satisfying when I nearly destroyed a screen with one avalanche click. That isn't, that's like, wow, okay, yeah, that's cool. I wasn't sure about it first. It does has a bit of a hook. These kind of puzzle games will have in the future is still a little bit there, but it's not very strong. Because the problem with this is it's a bit gentle and twee. It's like it's all just a bit. Oh, it's a bit nice,
harmless.
It needed, it needed a better input system, but it shows why these games worked amazingly well on the DS and then on mobile. But you need that tactile swish, swish, and then drop. If you don't have, if the drop is coming later, it's like this is really weird that I'm controlling the drop. It's like it'd be like Tetris without them dropping.
Yeah, which it kind of is in a weird way. Yeah.
You controlled them moving downwards. Put that there. Yeah. There's no threat. There's no. It's just moving shapes around. It's kind of weird. You need to be able to tap this and do more quickly, and there needs to be a bit of panic. Was there a timer?
I couldn't figure out if there was. There isn't one on the levels, but it says in the instructions. I wonder if there maybe was on the Amiga one. Maybe there's more to that, or maybe in competition mode, maybe you do get it. I don't know.
I don't know, but that weird qualify just popping up took me ages on the first go to go. No, I had to go and push it, and when you do, you get that really weird, basic looking high score table, that kind of info panel with just some buttons at the bottom, which looks like, as you said, just looks like it's got lines and some text and some lines. It's a basic screen. It's really strange, this game. I think you might be right about the main game is singing and there's a basic wrapper around it. But that menu level is the same menu screen on all the versions.
Strange.
It just look exactly the same on all the other versions, though. The menu word has a reflection in the bottom. The 64 version doesn't have that. Even the Amstrad version's got a reflection.
Very strange thing.
Yeah, so it isn't that the 64 version looks the most basic out of a lot of them, though.
Yeah, and would you say, was this have we come across many of these kind of
sort of colour swap, dual style
colour
games?
Swap, yeah. I mean, there's not been many of them, has there? So I wonder how influential this is in that lineage and history of those games. I mean, I'm not saying this 64 version, but this is a version of that game that came out on other systems. I wonder, if is this one of the very first,
quite possibly
colour swap games or that type, tile-based colour swappers.
I mean, according to Moby, the first release for this is on the Amstrad in 1990 because it's Microids and it's in France. Remember, so Amstrad was massive in France.
Yeah, the French loved the Amstrad, didn't they?
They did. So I don't think we've seen one. I mean, there might be one on other machines, but I don't remember us. We've seen some weird colour things, but not this kind of colour dropping.
No, I mean, I suppose
matching colours together.
No, I mean, I suppose Tetris is the kind of daddy of them all in that kind of colour blocks kind of way. But that's specifically the idea of swapping them out in that way.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think we've seen anything like this.
Just a little historical footnote then for that one.
Yeah, that does make it interesting, but still not particularly very enjoyable.
No, makes the idea of it interesting, but not the game.
No,
nothing could make that interesting. Possibly a giant squid.
Yeah, the idea's there, but the implementation is lacking.
Yeah, exactly right.
And there we go. That's it. That's all they wrote for October 1991. We had 7 games to look at because we didn't look at something about mermaids or Medusas or whatever it was. So this week we looked at Speedball 2, clearly the best game of the week and the best game of the month probably.
We did.
Bouncing Heads, all right. Dragon's Kingdom, stupidly hard. Ghosts and Goblins and Swap. Gentle swap.
Gentle swap, yeah. It's so gentle, so gentle. It didn't even want to tell you advance to the next level. It was too gentle for that.
Oh, you just do it when you feel like it. You just do it. It's all right.
Everyone's a winner on this game. Everyone wins.
No one's a loser. I'll give you all a medal. So there we go. We also looked at Volfied Dark Runner 782 last week or the other week.
We did.
And Volfied was the better of those. Right, we have a crap vert.
We do.
This is weird.
Oh Lord, what is going on?
Don't know. This is a proper throwback. This is Chucky Egg 2. This was a real advert in the magazines. I don't know what it's doing in there. It says released due to public demand, guaranteed salmonella free. It's Chucky Egg 2. Chucky Egg ages ago.
Yeah, it is a long while ago, isn't it? It's a bit strange that because it also says Chucky Egg on it.
Where's that? Oh yeah, Chucky Egg.
Why does it say that?
I don't know. I don't.
There's a lot of dubious things about this.
Do you want to describe what we're seeing?
Well, it's an advert of two halves. Top half is a brown egg teabagging a ladder with some kind of weird biocular spider attacking him from above. So you're sort of seeing this from a low angle, which is no angle to see an egg at. And clearly, I think that's meant to be his chin, but it does look like he's got a testicle hanging off his face, which is unpleasant because of where it is. He's got no pants on as well. I don't just give the egg
pants on an egg.
Why wouldn't you? If you're going to dangle his dubris, then so there's and I don't know. It's meant to be a chocolate egg. I think somebody just didn't think what they were doing when they did that.
No.
And then below that, you've got like the Chucky Egg logo, which has clearly been hand drawn and shaded, and then a load of text, and then some various screen grabs, none of which look very appealing at all, and some of which look hand drawn as well. I'm not sure where this has come from or why.
I don't know.
It's by PNC. 1995, 20 quid. Are they mental?
Well, I think you get both games.
Okay.
I think. So if you've played the classic, it says Chucky Egg.
Why does it say that?
I don't know. If you played the classic computer game Chucky Egg, you now need reintroduced to this cracking sequel. Takes us from the hen house to the chocolate Easter egg.
Okay.
That's a word you never want to hear, is it? Going to the chocolate Easter egg. That sounds a dubious phrase. The excellent game is guaranteed to be salmonella free on your Amiga, ST, or PC machines. It will give hours of entertainment no matter how many times you unwrap the disc and sample the goodies. It will neither make you fat nor rot your teeth. But also Chucky Egg 2 available on ST, Amiga, Spectrum, Commodore, Amstrad, soon on PC. And you get Chucky Egg.
Running for good measure. What a strange old thing this is. I mean, there's a lot of problems with this image, the imagery in this. The least of which is that the egg has been really weirdly drawn. It's not the Chucky Egg that we've come to know. He's got really weirdly long arms and legs.
He's got massive arms, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's also got a really odd nose and really weird eyes. Everything's been drawn anatomically unusually.
Yeah.
And
big boots.
Big boots on, socks, but no pants.
And
Give him pants. Yeah, and a cap, which is the same colour as his body. Why have they done that? Why didn't they give him a coloured cap? I don't get it. And I found it a little bit disturbing, this, because he's being attacked by a spider that's just leaped because there's no web coming out that spider. So it's just, it must be climbing down the green.
Yeah, it's climbing down the green pipes, I think. Yeah.
But that's not a spider that's somebody that has had spiders described to them, but has never actually seen one, I think.
It's like a ball with 8 legs.
Yeah, spiders don't look like that. They don't have vampiric fangs. They have 8 eyes, not famously, actually, they have 8 eyes. And they don't generally look like, that looks like a really weird, angry face. I don't know. They've given an egg teeth. It's just teeth and lips. And I don't like it. Yeah.
What's he eating? Where's it going?
Exactly.
With those teeth. Where's it? Because he's got nowhere to go. Does it go up?
What does he eat? I mean,
is his like stomach under that cap?
Teeth. Well, if he's obviously got internal organs then. And he's got an esophagus, he breathes, he's got a nose, so he must breathe air.
He must shit from somewhere.
Well, evidently he doesn't, because he doesn't have any genitalia and he's got no arse crack. You don't want an egg, no one wants a cracked egg anyway, do they, really? Well,
I don't know. We haven't seen the back of him.
I don't want to. Can you imagine how horrific that would be? If he's got a really rancid, stinking arse crack on the back of that image, I'm glad they've drawn it that way around.
Just like those lips, but tighter.
And it's obviously he's jumped off something and falling, I don't know. I get the idea of what they're trying to do, but it doesn't look like fun. I mean, the Chucky Egg isn't Chucky Egg. And I don't like the sort of stupid jokes, introduction to this cracking sequel. And then lots of notes about the salmonella. Famously, the Conservative politician, Edwina Curry, around this time had said, mistakenly said in an interview that all egg production in the UK had salmonella, which prompted a massive crisis in egg production and sales.
Yeah.
Which devastated the farmers at the time. It's not something to make light of. That was a devastating blow to the UK farms industry at the time. Nearly caused the collapse of the egg industry. Nobody wants to collapse that. And it just meant that lots of eggs got wantonly destroyed and burned, and lots of animals too, I don't doubt, on the back of that, which is absolute travesty. So
no yolk.
I don't know, making light of that wasn't a yolk. Making light of that, not a good idea. Anyway, no, Darwin, we may as well join in. It just guarantees salmonella. It's all a bit stupid. Release the public. I don't believe the public demanded this. I don't
think so either. Someone stood outside their offices. Make Chucky egg too.
Yeah.
No. Bug off.
And why from the hen house to the chocolate Easter egg? Why not just chocolate egg? You don't need to throw religious festivals into the mix as well. That's the most important festival on the Christian calendar. That's the death and resurrection of Christ. You can't make fun of that with chocolate eggs. What are you doing? Just leave it alone. Leave it well alone. Don't bring that in. It's meant to be a fun game about spiders chasing eggs. You don't need to bring in religious festivals and crucifixions into this. No.
Rising again after 3 days.
Exactly.
This is not the time nor place.
Yeah, let's throw in a few Pontius Pilate jokes in there. Why don't we do that if we're going to do that?
Might as well.
Have some hoots and let's get some get some of that on the go. I just don't think it looks like it's out of its time and place, doesn't it? You rightly said at the start, these look like the adverts we used to get in 1985. And it's a throwback to that.
Yeah, very
totally
much so.
That. All hand-drawn, not near a page layout software in sight with that. No, never mind Photoshop or anything else. That's been drawn and given to them on a piece of paper. And I reckon they looked at it and went, you want us to print that? All right. Terrible thing. Shocking. And that egg is disturbing me the more I look at it.
Stop looking at it then. And stop imagining its arse.
I can't. It's because it's got that chin. They gave it a chin. It's like, all right, I'm not looking at it now. I'm moving away.
Move away. There you go. That's our crap bit. We only found the one, but it was a good one. We've got the charts. CMVG have changed what they do this month in that they're only having full price titles in the charts.
Okay, makes sense.
So budget titles are gone.
Go bye-bye.
We only have a top 10, and this is a top 10 of the full price titles released for Commodore 64 from CMVG in October. So counting down from number 10, in at number 10 from 14 is Last Ninja 3.
Okay.
Up to 9 from 19 is Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Down to 8 is Super Monaco GP. Supremacy is down from 3 to 7.
Okay, good thing.
Holding at number 6 is Multiplayer Soccer Manager.
Oh dear.
No. Up to number 5 is Big Box.
Okay, compilation, I guess.
Compilation must be. Down to number 4 from number 1 is Hero Quest.
What?
The Dizzy Collection from Codemasters is down to number 3 from 2. I presume that was full price. It's been included here. Creatures is up to number 2 from 5.
Random.
And Ruling the Roost, everybody wanted a football game, so Manchester United Europe is at number 1.
Okay, what a random thing that is.
Yeah, so it'll only be full price only from this month onwards. We will not know anything else. Were there any other games released? I think there might have been. So let's just have a quick look. No, I didn't get any other games that were not covered. I didn't actually get them in there, so I think there might have been, but I forgot to include them. Never mind.
Never mind.
It's the budget games. We've already reviewed them, so don't worry about it. And I think that's about it. Next month is so Zapped goes out of business.
Interesting.
So there is technically no November 1991. So our next month is December 1991. They come back. We'll talk about what happened. Obviously, probably in the intro to next week's episode. But what it means is we've got 2 months worth of games, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, which works out handily. Wow. So it'll be a 4 week. 2 months, it'll be 4 weeks. Nothing changed.
It would have been split into November, December, but there's no November.
Yeah, so. But now it's November. Now it's November and December all together into one. So I don't know when these came out, but they came out. They were reviewed in December 91. So it'll be a 4 week month. But within that 4 week month, we'll cover music November, films November, music December, music thingy. So it's going to be like a normal month. It's just they're all in December's issue. So
they're all December's,
yeah. So games covered that we've got coming up over the next 4 weeks or so, over the next 4 main episodes. We've got Smash TV,
Okay.
WWF,
Okay.
wrestling.
I assume.
Yeah, it's a wrestling game. Battle Command.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is. World Class Rugby.
Okay.
Hudson Hawk.
Okay.
No idea what that's going to be like. Something called Stack Up.
Mm-hmm.
Turtles: The Coin Op 2. These are in decreasing order of score.
So. Yeah.
Turtles: The Coin Op 2. Tony LaRussia's Ultimate Baseball.
Okay.
Pit Fighter. Ooh, I'd imagine that ain't going to be good.
Oh, it's getting worse.
Pit Fight was that digitized arcade fighting game, wasn't it?
Ain't going to be good.
I can't imagine a digitized.
No.
Round the Bend.
Okay.
Something called Crime Time. Which I'm not actually sure I ever got released, but it is reviewed, so we'll hopefully have that one. Robozone.
Okay.
Thunder Jaws, not to be confused with Thunder Lips.
Okay.
Last Battle.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I've already seen that or not, but no, maybe not. It's full price. Rugby, the World Cup. Obviously, it's the World Cup Rugby, isn't it? That's why we've got 2 rugby games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And finally, Graham, Final Fight.
I can tell you, I know how bad that actually is.
22%.
I think we're going to have a contender for worst arcade conversion on our hands.
Okay, I'm probably going to give that one to you because I know how much you love Final Fight.
I am it's one of my favorite arcade games of all time.
I think it's only fair that you get to discuss.
I remember the controversy
C64 version of Final Fight
of how bad that game actually is. So
I've never seen it. I've never witnessed it. I will find out over the next week or so, I suppose, depending when it comes, what month it's in, what week it's in.
It ain't good.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
You ain't gonna like it.
I'm guessing not. Are we in Double Dragon territory?
Yes.
Or Wild Streets.
There's problems with that game. But I'm going to start. I'm just going to let you come at it with a fresh perspective. See what you think.
Okay, all right, that's all good. So that's what we have coming up over the next few weeks, and that then brings us to the end of the year, and then of course following that, it will be the 1991 Golden Bread Bins. So you have that to look forward to, and we have that to look forward to try and pick some. There's been some okay games of late, some decent bits and bobs. I don't think there's been anything that might trouble the best of the best. But we will pick the winners and everything like that. We'll go and get to it. But anyway, we've got 4 weeks yet. So just so you understand how the layout's going to be for the next, November.
Absolutely. Do you know?
And December.
I'm dreading Final Fight. The more I think about it, if I tell you this, I'll tell you one thing. The guy that programmed it also did hard driving on the C64.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he only did that in like 2 weeks, did he?
Yeah.
Did he do Final Fight in 2 weeks as well?
He also did Line of Fire, but I'm saying no
crap. Oh, my God. Why give it to these people? Oh, God, Lord.
I guess they're the only ones left, I think.
I guess so. Give it to that guy who did Speedball too.
Yeah. He's probably thinking, I'm done.
Yeah, probably. There is a comment actually there's a weird comment. I think it was on Speedball 2. Let me just find it. It's on Lemon, just hidden in amongst the comment, which I saw. It's from someone called Kiwi Fruit, and it says, eating corn flour and water until milestone payments came through. Happy days. I wonder if that's the programmer.
Interesting. Got to be the programmer, isn't it?
I imagine so. Corn flour and water.
Mm.
Yeah, interesting. That was Mr. Cal Muller himself. Anyway, there you go. That is October. That's what we've got coming up in the next month or so. You got anything you want to add, Graham?
No. It's been at least Speedball 2 came along and resurrected some good vibes. And not a terrible collection of stuff, just derivatives, softly games. Bit of an odd month, hasn't it been, this October?
Yeah.
So
Return of Ocean.
Yeah, we had Ocean coming back, Terminator 2, and big cinema movies. And then all of a sudden a drop off and loads of weird things. But you know what? Let's see what the next one, the next December, such as it is, Nov December is going to be an interesting batch of games. A bit like the old times when we had that many to do in one sitting, but obviously we're not doing all in one go, thank God. But
no,
good. Instant interesting reflection that I like the fact that they did do a version of Speedball 2 for the C64 because I think it deserved that. It deserves to be going out with better titles than it has been. So that's quite nice to see.
I'm looking forward to seeing what the C64 version of Smash TV is like. It's got a high score and it's a good arcade game. I've
heard it's meant to be quite good as well, so we'll see.
Yeah. Obviously one of Eugene Javs' later arcade games, wasn't it?
Indeed.
All right. Okay. So on that note, I guess we will bid you adieu. As ever, I have been Adrian Mills.
And I have been Graham Raddings.
You have indeed. You're very certain of that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I am certain you've been listening to Zapped to the Past. And you can hear us again next week. Goodbye.
Be off with you.
Thank you for listening to the Zapped to the Past podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of Commodore 64 games, as well as the music, films and TV from around the 1980s, driven, of course, by the issue of Zap 64 magazine published at that time. We will return with a whole new batch of games and stuff to talk about next week. Until then, if you want to listen to or download previous episodes of Zapped to the Past, and why wouldn't you, they can all be found on our website at zappedtothepast.com, as well as being available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Audible, Player FM, and, well, pretty much anywhere where we can upload them. By the way, we do always love to hear from our amazing listeners, so if you'd like to contact us about anything in the podcast or beyond, you can do so by emailing us at zappedtothepast@gmail.com. We're also active on Twitter under @ZapTother, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and most social media platforms. Just search for Zapped to the Past and you'll find us. Oh, and if you like the podcast and what we're doing, please do like, share, review, rate us. It really helps. Something, apparently. The Zapped to the Past podcast is written and produced by Adrian Mills and Graham Raddings, and recorded at Flaky Bits 2.0 Studio. All opinions expressed are those of the writers, and while we indeed love Zap 64 magazine, the Zapped to the Past podcast is not affiliated with it in any way. Stay safe, see you next time, and remember, we play these games so you don't have to.